Not the Chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise.
I have a real soft spot for evil.
Blood flying everywhere.
So good.
I'm a big boy who doesn't get scared.
Out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod.
Sup, Chuddle Club members? What is happening? Welcome to Chuddle the Pod, a horror movie club where horror movie lovers have a feel-good time. That's right, we keep it spoiler-free in the beginning, in case you haven't seen it, and then we get to spoilers, we'll let you know when they're gonna happen. That's once we've started rapping, and we'll stop that right now. Let's see here, what do we do? Tonight we are going to Chuddle No One Will Save You.
Ooh,
yes. The 2023, right?
Yep.
Yeah, last year. Alien home invasion flick to start off our home invasion themed cycle.
Home invasion month.
As voted on by our patrons. It's home invasion month. We're breaking into homes all month long. You should too.
No, we're not. We're not. Legally, we're not doing that. We're not doing any of that.
Legally, I am doing all of it. Just as a joke, though. We have Ross here. That's right, Ross.
Oh, hey.
Brian, are you also here?
I'm here.
Excellent. That's how I know both of you are here, because you said the things. And we have somebody else here tonight. Returning guest. He's back. We had him. We said, you know what? You were so great. We had such a good time. We're becoming such fast friends. We gotta have you back. It's Scotty from Fun with Horror.
And you know what? You know what, guys? I will save you.
I will save you. Oh, thank you.
And here I thought no one would. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back. I'm so
Absolutely. You got to check out Fun with Horror, another horror talking podcast like us. Also, long distance friends keeping their relationship strong through the shared bond of horror films. You want to plug anything related to that now?
Well, let's see. I think I think we just did Late Night with the Devil, probably.
Nice.
And because we haven't actually recorded that at the time that we're recording this, I don't know what our next movie is yet. Andrew hasn't picked it.
Yeah, excited. I'm looking forward to listening to the conversation you haven't had yet, because that's an interesting one. There's a lot to get into, I feel like.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. With horror.
Hey.
Yeah. Before we continue, I must take this moment to thank our coven of patrons. Your sacrifice gives us life, and we thank your beautiful souls.
Thank you.
Now, with all club members present and the coven avowed, it's time to crack open that goo book and officially begin tonight's meeting.
Give me that goo. Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Sergio.
Starting with our log and taglines, the lines of tow log variety.
A goo line?
The log line.
The goo line?
Yep.
The goo line?
All the goo lines. An exiled, anxiety-ridden homebody must battle an alien who's found its way into her home.
Okay.
Just one?
Yeah, apparently it's only talking about the first 15 minutes.
I guess.
It works for me. Yeah.
It works.
It's not
Sure.
wrong. It's just not the whole truth.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like a half season.
This is a great little statistic for Home Invasion Month. This is the tagline. More than 1.65 million homes are broken into each year. This invasion is different.
Ooh.
Certainly.
It's an alien invasion.
Do you think that's an accurate fact?
Who knows? I have no idea.
You know what? Remind me to come back to that tagline when we're in the middle of talking about the movie. I've got a thought.
Yes.
Okay.
Any more taglines?
Nope,
Or they
just
keep
the
it
one.
simple. Just the one.
Yeah.
I feel
As
like they
far as
also
I know-
probably thought the title was also like a good tagline.
Yeah.
No one will save you.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's also our tagline. It's the title. It's the tagline.
No
I
one will
guess
save
I
you.
mean-
No one will
It's a
save
state.
you.
It's a state of mind.
Yeah, right.
It's already written on there. You don't want to write it twice.
It's true.
All right. Movies are made by people, and the people that made this movie are. This movie was written and directed by Brian Duffield.
Yes.
He has done other things. He was a producer on Cocaine Bear, which we've covered, so you could check that out
Yes.
if you want. He wrote Love and Monsters. He wrote and directed the Babysitter movies on Netflix. And he's done a bunch of other things. He did the Divergent movie Insurgent. Divergent,
like a gentleman diver.
Divergent.
Yeah, that's a Doug Benson joke.
Oh god, the movie probably would have done better maybe if it was
Gentleman Diver, Divergent.
Gentleman Diver.
Divergent.
And then it stars Caitlin Dever as Bryn. There's some other people in this movie, but not really, so I didn't include them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mainly her running it.
Yeah, and I know her from Booksmart, and she's also in Justified. She's Loretta.
Ooh.
There you go.
And she's awesome. She does a great job.
I had no idea who it was when I first saw the movie. And then after it was over, I was like, oh my God, that was the girl from Booksmart.
Right.
That's amazing. Because this is basically the Booksmart of alien invasion movies, right?
Well, how do you figure?
I haven't seen Booksmart, so I don't know.
I don't even know how that would make sense.
I just wanted to see your reaction when I said that.
All right. Well, I know what time it is. Do you?
It's time for the gore. Fatality.
On a scale of 1 to 10, psycho to the sadness, how gory is this film? Consistency, intensity, put them together, you get something. I don't really know where this is landing on there. I don't have anything really. Ross,
5.
you look like you want to say something.
Oh man, I would say I don't even know how to distribute it. This gave maybe like a 3. You know what I mean? Like, because you don't
Really?
There's some stuff you do, like a 3 or 4. I don't know.
Well,
That seems high to me.
Well, continue your thought, please.
I mean, that's why I stuck with the 3. Well, because I figured like there's some decent alien violence. There's like minimal human violence though.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like we get a stabbing. I think we get like a partial like mauling attack, but like nothing crazy. Honestly, more wounds and stuff happen to our aliens than they do the human beings. So like, I was for a stretch, it was a 3 to be totally honest.
Okay.
with you.
Sure. No. Okay.
Scotty, what are you thinking? You look like you had something to say during that.
I give it a 1. I don't know. This is a PG-13 movie, and there's no blood at all except for like she gets a little scratch on her head
Right.
that dribbles down her face, and even I don't think the aliens have blood per se.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some gooey
Totally.
stuff,
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if you count that as gore, but
It depends.
yeah. Well,
I mean, if it.
but yeah, I say maybe half gore, half
half and each.
Half for each. Consistency and intensity.
yeah, half each. So intensity, and that's kind of a stretch for me.
I'd probably echo that.
As would I. Well done,
I
Scotty.
mean, I think you nailed it.
Yay!
No, I mean, you do get.
Okay, see you guys. It was fun.
Appreciate it.
End on a high note.
Our Gorometer guy.
Yeah, no, I think I like you were kind of saying, there is some stuff, and like I would kind of include what happens to the aliens a little bit, but even what happens to them isn't that gooey or gory by any means either.
Yeah.
So I think it's real low on there, around a 1.
Okay. I mean, I do agree, but like, I don't know, because I always gauge it by like Psycho, which has like 0 versus.
Well, there's blood in Psycho.
Well, there's blood in Psycho, but like
Probably
this has more than that. You know what I mean? So that's why I didn't go
I don't
like
think that it does.
bottom of the barrel. But I agree with you
They
guys.
both have blood going down a drain in a shower.
Very true.
Well,
very
we'll
true.
get into what the goriest moments are once we get into the discussion for sure.
Who is the horror forward?
All right, baby. Starting with those sweet subgenres. Where are we at? Well, we know we're at home invasion because it's home invasion month.
Home invasion.
Home invasion month.
Invasion. Alien
Yeah.
invasion.
Alien invasion.
Yeah.
Double invasion. Double invasion month.
I mean,
That
that's
pretty
where I
much
think
covers
it
it.
hit the biggest. Sci-fi?
dialogue free films.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yes.
I don't
didn't
know
know how
what
to
the
say it either.
subgenre would be, what you call that, but
Not a talkie.
Not a talkie.
it's
Yeah.
not a silent film.
Silent,
it's not quiet like a
Yeah, it's not
quiet
silent.
place is quiet. There's just not
Yeah.
dialogue.
It's like a silent protagonist.
I may age myself here, but I would call it a quest for fire type movie.
Ooh.
No? Anybody?
You
Help
just
us out.
remember what it was like trying to find fire?
Just because
No,
I look
there's
like
an
a
old-
Neanderthal doesn't mean.
There's an old movie called Quest for Fire about cavemen, and it was kind of famous for having no dialogue, just like
I've seen that movie, actually. I didn't know what it was
Oh,
called.
there
I
you-
saw it
there
when
you
I was
go.
a kid. It
Yeah.
was. I remember being like, "This is the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen."
So if we're going with like
Yeah.
no talking main character protagonist, would Willy's Wonderland also fit
Oh.
into this?
No,
'Cause
because
he doesn't talk.
There's other
dialogue
Everyone else
in the
talks.
movie.
There's other
Yeah, but there's
dialogue.
no
Okay.
dialogue
Exactly.
in this movie. It's not
Oh,
like
that's-
other
yeah.
people are talking.
There's a
enough.
teeny
There's
tiny,
tiny
bit.
little bits of things, but it's not
There's
like
snippets.
any.
She has
presence of it.
like 5 words, and then you
Someone
get like
else
a
says
snippet,
like
a couple
mumbles
other.
of things.
Yeah, you
here
get
and
like
there.
you fucking. And
Yeah, like yeah.
yeah. What kind of environment is best to watch this? I think Alone in the Dark, like quiet. This is a movie to be
Yes.
scared to. Get like
Yeah.
have fun getting scared. Watch this to get scared.
Sure,
Mhm.
agree.
Yeah. Headphones.
Ooh, yeah.
And I say that as a big boy who does not get scared.
It's true.
It's true.
And last, is it for beginners?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I think
Definitely,
so.
easily.
I think this would be a great one to turn you on to horror movies.
I think so too, but I'll be honest, when it came to recommending it to a friend of mine, I actually told her I wasn't sure if it would be too scary for her, because for somebody who does get scared, I thought it was pretty intense at times. And she has been known to get scared of alien type things. So I'm not sure.
Sure.
It's kind of difficult.
Interesting.
I don't know. I have
Scary.
Scary.
I think it's I have an affinity for aliens like Sam has an affinity to spiders. So like I don't know, they don't
You don't
freak
find
me out
them
as
scare
much.
you?
I don't find them really scary. I think that, like visually they're interesting, you know what I mean? But like
I mean, nothing scares me though. Just want to
That's-
put that,
you know, that
make
is-
that
that is
clear.
really true. but that being said, Scotty,
Yeah.
there were moments in this that absolutely like puckered my butthole. Like that was like, oh
Yes.
my God, holy shit.
Well, and I think a lot of the scary stuff in this, it doesn't even really come from them. Some of it obviously comes from them being aliens, but comes from the home invasion aspect. Just that aspect of
Exactly.
the
The cat and
storytelling.
mouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is very well done.
And the isolation of her being alone in this house in the middle of kind of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That was kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
and no one will save her because nobody likes her. All right. Fappity fap. Here comes the Chuddle harbinger of doom, Mothman, fapping his way through the window. Got any trigger warnings for this one, Mothman? No, right?
Not
It's pretty
not
scary.
really. I mean, like, there's technically child death, but it's so abstractly portrayed that I don't think that it constitutes the warning.
But
You know what I mean?
it could constitute the warning, because if that is a trigger for you, it definitely is there. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
care how much it shows it.
Mhm.
I think there might be people that have a slight fear of having foreign objects put in their mouths,
That would.
which
Yes.
I don't mean that in a perverted way, but
No,
that's
I was
a
thinking the
definite
same
thing
tip
with this
with like
movie.
if you have a thing about like sleep paralysis too. There's certain
Ooh.
scenes in there that can definitely bring that anxiety out, I guess would be the best way to put that.
good one.
Dope. Let's ride.
Spoiler zone.
Here we are, the spoiler zone. IMDb behind the scenes. Not a whole lot here. I do have more stuff from. I read a Fangoria interview with the writer director. He hasn't been on a podcast. It doesn't look like there's no interview to listen to. This was the only interview I found was with Fangoria. So I will include some of that stuff as we go. As
Sure.
it comes up naturally. I didn't write any of it down. I just read the article. IMDb. There are only 5 words spoken through the entire film. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Does it say what they are?
It does not. I didn't take. Oh, actually, let me. Because I'm on IMDb, so I wanted to pull up the quotes anyway. I'm glad you said that. Because
are the quotes just going to be 5 just single words?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The quote. God damn it.
It's the whole script. The entire script is the quotes.
We have I'm sorry, Maud from Bryn. And then we have from Alien, click, 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 blah, click, click, blah, click, blah.
Nice. Good.
It's very good.
That was good.
I thought I was watching the movie again.
I thought that was so funny. Somebody put that in here.
So then there's more than 5 words in the movie.
Well,
if we're adding
counting alien sounds, there's also fuck is definitely in it on the phone. Once you picks it up and hangs it up real quick, you hear like, you fucking, because somebody's calling her just to be mean.
Just to be mean. They really
I
hate
don't even
her.
remember that.
Because no one does like her. It's in the very beginning when she's dancing around the house.
Yeah.
See, I don't remember the I'm sorry mod. I actually don't remember that. The only dialogue I remember hearing from her, maybe. I think I watched the right movie last night. Was it Quest for Fire?
Quest for Fire? Was it Fire in the Sky? It's
like
Quest
Mungo.
for Fire in the Sky.
Quest for Fire in the Sky.
I was like, it was Fire in the Sky, and I was like, why? These people are talking a lot.
Everybody's
I don't know what
talking.
people are talking about. But no, like the only thing I
much.
remember her saying was when she was singing along with the music she was listening to near the beginning.
Yeah, no, we'll get there. But yes, it does happen. And when it happens at an hour, 9 minutes, and 5 second mark in the film, because that's another IMDb behind the scenes. And the last one that I have here, I just thought this was funny. Bryn's kill count at the end is 7. 4 aliens, 2 slime creatures, and Maud.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh wow.
I saw that and I had a very loud chuckle at that one.
It is pretty good.
Yeah. People getting sassy and spicy with these
They're having
behind the
fun
scenes.
with these click, click, blah.
Click, click, blah.
Click, click, blah. This time I'm gonna let it all come out, or whatever it is.
Is that your pit call?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is my pick call.
Yeah, that works. Damn, nice.
All right, who picked it? Why in history? I picked this one. It's Home Invasion month. I thought this would be a fun twist on Home Invasion. I've been wanting to revisit it since I watched it. I watched it around the time it came out, and I really was into it when I was watching it. And then as it stayed with me, I kind of became more and more down on it and haven't seen it since. And as more people have seen it and liked it more, I've been wanting to come back to it. I remember in the Discord, like 20 minutes in, being like, oh my God, this fucking like so good. I think Brian may have started watching it shortly after I...
Right.
Yeah, because the first 20 minutes or whatever it is, it's gripping. It's a great job of suspense. But anyway, that's my history. Been wanting to come back to it. This was a good excuse for it, and here I am.
I'm sure we don't have much histories with this. It's a fairly new movie, and I think I hit the same kind of note as Sam just said. He was talking about it, so then I checked it out. And unlike Ross, I mean, I am someone who is typically, or always been, scared by aliens, particularly Greys and that look and that style and everything. And this had its moments for me where it was creepy, but upon revisit, we'll get into, like, it didn't scare me as much. Definitely the second time around, I was not creeped out by any factor, which I feel like talking about another movie with aliens and stuff, which will be fun to revisit at some point, with like Fire in the Sky. That one holds in my mind as something I'm always kind of creeped out by and freaked out because it's, well, there's big differences in what the aliens are, but that one, I'm scared by that. So this one was interesting. Like you said, saw it. I was kind of into it. I liked a lot of the design and the aliens and everything going on. It had a good creep factor, but sitting with it, I was kind of like, I don't know how I feel. So I was excited to come back and revisit it.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much same. I mean, like I feel like the first time watching this, I really enjoyed a lot of different aspects of it, even though like alien movies for me aren't necessarily on like my top tier of like, I like science fiction. I do like alien movies, but in comparison to like other horror subgenres, there's things that are a little higher up on the list for me. And there's something we're going to get into it, but I feel like in this movie, there are 3 definitively different aliens.
There are.
And I had issues with that and how they kind of molded and moved in the film itself. I do have
it's intentional that there's a hierarchy. It's all a religion. This is all from the writer director. I'm being serious. There are the little fuckers, which is that little one, and that's what he calls them, the little fucker.
Sure.
There's the sort of regular ones that are more like, you know, the
Greys,
the foot soldier types. Yep. And then the daddy long legs ones, which are like the high priests that commune. Those are the ones that actually commune with the ships.
Interesting. I saw a hierarchy and sort of order to them, but I didn't see them as the highest. I saw the what you call the foot soldier, the Greys, as kind of like...
The Greys is like the head honchos.
Right.
Honestly, I interpreted the daddy longlegs one as like dogs. Like...
To some extent,
because they don't do anything. They just kind of watch and report back to the ship.
Well,
not necessarily, because there's one that directly attacks her throughout the house and in the car. So, like, it's weird.
Well, not throughout the house.
Yeah,
it's over the house.
I guess over.
Well, it starts in the house because it starts off small.
Well,
right?
that's the little fucker.
No,
that's the little fucker. I'm talking. I thought the mouth guys were the little fuckers.
No, the little.
We'll
fucker
get into all the different fuckers.
Yeah,
there's a whole lot of fuckers in this.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Sam. The little fuckers, they seem like they don't have psychic powers, while the other 2 do.
He didn't get into that.
Right.
I don't know,
because
I agree about that. I think
I'm not sure if the big huge quadruped, because I called it the quadruped, but I'm not sure if that one actually did. But I know definitely the normal, like taller than human sized gray. Those are the ones that had some psychic abilities, because
for sure
it stopped her from moving things and
And obviously, like we're gonna kind of get into it, but like my working theory, because I was so kind of confused on on how these 3 almost separate kind of alien things kind of merge, is I thought we were dealing with like a pussy cake kind of thing, where I thought legitimately like a parasitic alien had latched on to Greys and used their tech to start infiltrating other species. So like it explained why like. Yeah, I don't know.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But
I didn't think it was that. I didn't think it is what the director says it is, which is it's essentially, they're Christians spreading their religion. It's just them coming here, conquering, giving us their religion, watching over us, studying us.
Like a mouth spore?
Interesting, because I read like at least one of his quotes that was on the IMDb behind the scenes from that article about his interpretation of a few things, which I think, let's get into it. We haven't heard Scotty's history with this. I know.
Oh yeah, we're still
my
there,
history is simply, it was weird. The night that it premiered, I knew it was coming out, and then I had heard a little bit of word of mouth, and I just randomly, I wasn't in a place where I usually watched movies like as soon as they hit streaming. But for whatever reason, I'm like, I'm not doing anything this Friday night. I'm going to watch this. I turned off the lights, put on my headphones, and then I was blown away.
Sure.
And it, as you guys know, it was in like my number 2 of horror movies last year. And
why we invited you on for this.
Exactly. And that's exactly what you said. And yeah, like you guys said, we'll get into it, but I'll just say right now that after watching it a second time, it's even higher.
Ooh.
So
nice.
What?
All right, let's talk about the movie then.
Please do.
We open with a drone shot or something of an isolated farmhouse. Title card right away. No fucking around in this one.
Okay.
Mhm.
This house, it was my first note is that this fucking house looks like a giant monster's like face. Like it's got the giant nose in the center of it. It looked like what a cartoon version my daughter would draw of like a Yeti. Like it had like the shackle, like the shingled, like the steel thing on top looked like a giant musk. It was hilarious. Like I paused it and I got my wife. I was like, "Does this house look like a weird cartoon Yeti to you?" And she's like, "Yes, it does." I was like, "All right, I'm not crazy. All right, continue."
Oh,
I'm
man,
very
I wish you
curious
had
to
told
see
me
this
that
house
before
again. Yeah,
because
I
I
wish
did
to
not
look for this.
see anything
I
at
didn't
all.
see it either.
Yeah, this house, it
That's
just,
an artist eye.
Yeah, right.
it was just a creepy, isolated house. I was like, I'm ready for this
Yeah,
atmosphere.
cool.
Let's go.
I like it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Bryn, our protagonist, is fresh out of the shower getting ready for the day. Oh, this is also going to be an interesting one to go through because there is no dialogue. I mean,
Yeah.
normally I don't include that many lines anyway, but it's just a different way of storytelling. So we'll see how it goes.
Also, at the beginning, we don't know her name. That's the other thing. The movie unfolds.
Of
and
course, yeah.
We get some names, but we're not exactly sure who is who
Mhm.
yet.
Because it's not up until she actually writes the receipt with the hand note that says like "thanks from Bryn" that you actually get the gist of like what her name is, right?
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
a minute from now. I just, rather than saying some girl, and I'm
Is it
going to
that
continue
soon?
to say Bryn. Yeah, it's like right away when she makes
Well, I'm just-
the package to bring into town.
I'm just blind then.
But they do a lot of, I mean, all the names and everything is all through writing because, again, there's no dialogue.
Mhm.
One of the things the writer-director said, he was like, yeah, I was about 40 pages in. Actually, I'll bring it up when we get to the scene. All right. Bryn, fresh out of the shower, nervously getting ready for the day, practicing smiling in the mirror, picking out her clothes. She's got a little miniature town set up that she's into. She crafts something for someone and goes to leave the house when she notices a ring of dead grass in the yard. So she decides to water it, which later we see this is from these beams, right?
Right.
So does that mean
Yeah.
something got like sucked up from there before? The night before?
or something, or someone got dropped off.
They just sent some light down?
Yeah.
Oh, huh?
Yeah.
Right.
Little recon.
And I also really do like her aesthetic throughout the entire, because obviously it's set in present day, but she's dressed like post World War II, almost like 50s style dresses, hairstyles, like even like everything she's wearing is vintage and dated.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which creates a really cool aesthetic to her character, especially in juxtaposition with dealing with other humans in her town, which all look relatively current 2023 normal.
I agree, Ross. It is good for her, Bryn.
Well, I don't know. I like it too because it feels like you see the isolation of like, I don't know if that was an artistic choice, but it was like it even shows them like side by side with normal people how distant she is because of how dated she looks in comparison to everybody else.
Well, and then what we get in the end too is everybody looks like that.
Mhm.
It's no longer modern looking. What's happening? She crafts something, ring of dead grass. She's going into town, waves at a neighbor, does not wave back, not interested. She brings her packages to a mailbox. She's super nervous driving through town, doesn't want anybody to see her, puts in the packages, and then she goes for a picnic at her mom's grave. While leaving the cemetery, she hides from a cop and his wife. These will come into play later.
Certainly.
Back at home, yeah.
If you live in a town where you are having a panic attack just dropping things off at the mailbox, why wouldn't you just move out of town? Like, I guess I understand the idea of like living in your family home and like it's also your town too. But like, if just leaving your house is giving you that much anxiety, you would think at a certain point, like getting away from that town.
I think she wants to be liked by her
Sure.
town.
Yeah.
So she's not going to do that by leaving.
Yeah, I guess. It's a little different when everyone in town doesn't talk to you and fucking hates you, and you're like,
Well, to me, what's crazier is that nobody in town talks to her and hates her for like. So what the
Right.
deal is? She killed her friend when they were kids. They were like 12, right?
Yes.
It's been
Sister,
10
right?
years.
Oh,
No,
is it friend or
friend.
sister?
It's her.
And the
yeah,
parents
it's her
were the
best friend.
sheriff and the
Yeah.
Mhm.
the wife.
Fucking, you don't know shit about this movie.
Why did we bring him on? Kidding.
Yeah, so... But the shittier thing to me is that every single person in this
Everyone.
town now hates her for a decade for like a mistake she made when she was a child.
But not just like
It's not like
indifference.
she-
Like visceral
Hate. Actively
dagger
hate.
eyes.
Yeah.
Like
That's
hate
my
you.
bigger problem with what's
Call
going
up
on
your
here.
house and still say, yeah, fucking.
Right.
10 years later, people are doing this.
Yeah.
To like a 22-year-old, this is like still a young girl.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying.
That's
is-
what I don't get.
Well, but I'm saying at that level of hostility, it would kind of be like, well, I should probably throw this house on Zillow and maybe just move 2 or 3 counties over where nobody knows me so I can actually interact with people and not have like,
I
death
see. I
wish.
think she wants to be accepted by her town again.
which I respect.
Sure.
I dig it.
I'm just saying, I understand her thing more than I understand the other people.
Right. I get
Yeah.
it. I get not wanting
Ross
to leave.
just
It's a
stepped
nice
away
house.
so he can no longer defend his point. I win.
I
Let's
mean-
keep moving.
It's a nice house.
Well, now wait. Now I want to
Okay.
go back because I feel like an idiot.
yeah.
Now, did you guys, the first time you saw this movie, did you guys know that this girl was her friend and not her sister?
Yes.
Yes.
Because how did you know this?
Because there's a picture of them together and it says BFF.
It says BFF.
It
I
says
missed the
Bryn
part.
and Mod BFF with like exclamation points.
Wow. Okay.
And
But the aliens were cool, guys.
They're fucking awesome.
I think we see Bryn's last name at some point. We definitely see Mod's last name is Collins, and they're different. Oh yeah, Bryn's last name is on her mailbox.
Oh, God. I'm an idiot. I'm sitting here thinking that the cop was her
Well,
dad.
wait till
who
we
hates her
ruin this
now.
movie for you. I thought it was
Yeah.
so good, and now we're going to tell you what actually happened.
Maybe, or I like it even more.
Right.
or that.
You know, it might get there. I hope so. I'm open to this movie because I like so many things to
I
it.
still really like it. I'm interested in where I'm going to land on it.
Exactly.
Because I still also have...
It's
We'll
I
get there.
love. There's a lot of aspects to it. I think it's a beautifully shot film as well. Again, the
Mhm.
aesthetic of it, the farmhouse or
The
whatever we wanna call it,
cinematography on
is
this
a really beautiful house. It's shot all very well. The isolated feel, like even of like just like the look of it, like just
Mhm.
sets you up in that moment from that first shot of like what we're getting into. And I wish my problem is I guess I wish we just stayed in that maybe a little bit more once, because we get soon to our first encounter. And
Yeah, I mean, we still got a minute. I guess we're not that far because it starts quickly.
right. But
yeah.
like, yeah. Anyway,
But one of my favorite things with the cinematography is the use of perspective. Like, just how often you are watching an alien and where she is hiding and where this is and that is, and like using that to build tension. All right, so she's back at home, pondside, writing a letter to Maud. I saw your parents today. There's another clue.
I am shamed.
She gets excited to see a package get delivered, but the mailman acts like the package is a basketball, throws it. She goes to collect it. This was a nice touch, I thought, that the mailbox was clearly dented and had been reattached, was like tied back on. Like the
people
fucking
just keep
dickheads in town.
smashing
Yeah,
your
exactly.
fucking mailbox.
Can't catch a break. Fuck these people.
That's what I'm saying.
They deserve throat aliens.
It's
All
true.
right. She's learning to dance at home by herself to some like again speaking to your like wartime feel. She's like her outfit, the music, the steps on the floor.
Well, this is what I
learning, some sort of wartime dance.
Yeah, it's like literally like it's got like the cutouts of shoes on the ground as she's doing it. Like it's so dated, but it's such a good way. And I think as the movie gets further down, and obviously the first encounter and stuff like that, like she's in like a 1950s nightgown with the like, so everything feels like a for choice of better words, like an atomic age 1950s sci-fi movie when you're dealing with her and the aliens, which I thought was fucking so cool.
And it shows how alienated she is from everyone else.
Well played.
Uh-huh. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Yeah.
So she's doing all this. She gets out the schoolhouse. That's what was in the package. New thing for her little diorama. It's got a little bell on it, as schoolhouses do, I guess. She continues her letter. I can't believe it's been almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
She makes herself a nice little meal, gets a phone call, picks it up, hangs it up. We hear, "You're a fuck." And then that's all we get. Back to letter. I wish you could try something I've made. God, I miss you. I don't think I'll ever forgive myself. We see a picture of two kids. Maud and Bryn, BFF, written on the photo.
But it is...
But the aliens are so cool, guys.
Halfway... but honestly,
cool.
I will... Okay. In Scotty's defense here, the first time I fucking watched this movie, because nothing is explained and a lot of stuff is very obtuse, is that, like, I got vibes. Like, I honestly had this impression halfway through that the twist was that Maud was Bryn and Bryn was Maud. Like, I don't know why, but I was like,
me neither.
Because there's no dialogue. I'm just like, is this like a body swapping thing? Because, like, there's no, she's not talking. And then it always has these pictures of her where I'm like, is that what the weird thing? It's like, is the alien going to uncover that, like, there's this mummified 12-year-old girl in, like, a bedroom somewhere and they've just switched bodies?
Oh, wow. You just
wow.
keep.
I went real dark, guys. Then I had to put myself in check because I realized it's PG.
Ross
That'd be an
needs
interesting
words in his movies. His imagination goes crazy.
It goes to really dark places.
Thank you, Ross.
I think the visual storytelling this is incredible. All right. Where are we?
All right.
You're a fuck.
Dancing around.
Oh,
Yeah,
she's
just
trying
dancing.
to- Oh, yeah.
Pick some
They're
phone.
best
You're
friends.
a fuck.
Bryn goes to bed. It's night. Suddenly, all the lights in Bryn's house turn on. Then they turn off again. There's a loud bang outside, which wakes Bryn. It's at her trash can. Probably just a wild animal. She puts on a robe to go clean up the trash, which is not something I would do in the middle of the night. I would just fucking go back to bed and deal with it in the morning.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
But
Whatever.
tries to turn on a light, powers out. As she descends the stairs, she sees the front door creak open. Also, before she had come down, actually, I didn't make note of it, but we kind of hear, and we hear it a few
Scuttling.
times in this movie, this weird, like, alien song almost, or whistling thing.
Just-
We're kind of
there's
uncertain of what it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, according to
Nice.
the director, that
Oh,
is
boy.
this main daddy. There's
Main daddy.
a daddy longlegs that's already spotted her and is fascinated by her because it watched her in that song, and that is it trying to do the song to her.
Oh.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we hear it a couple times throughout the film. I don't have notes from them all, but that's supposed to be what's happening there. Is it trying to communicate and being like, I like your song.
Oh.
Okay. Fine.
Okay.
Some of
Yeah.
their actions. The aliens'
We'll get
actions
there.
throughout the film.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
exactly.
we're also getting into some stuff that you messaged me, Sam, about your feelings towards the movie. And so now
Yeah.
I'm understanding
I
that
don't feel
some
that
of
way
your
anymore, though.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No.
Because I
I
was
don't.
starting to feel like some of your first impressions were based also on this interview and the director's.
Oh, no, I didn't know the interview till now.
Okay, good. Here we go.
Till after I watched it twice for this. I'd seen it once before, so I've seen it 3 times now. But after my second watch, is when I read the interview. But my issue with this, when I first saw it, I was like, what, were they just trying to scare her this whole time into forgiving herself? Is that all this fucking movie was? But I don't think that's what it is
Right.
anymore.
No, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have gone outside, by the way.
It needed another watch.
I would have checked.
It
I
really
would have
did.
checked the trash cans.
Right.
Oh, you would?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it might be raccoons, and I love raccoons. They're so cute.
You just want to say
What are
hi.
you doing out there, you little trash panda?
You
You gotta calm down. The door's open. Oh, they got inside. Come here, guys.
So this is a great creepy moment.
Yes.
When she descends the stairs and the front door creeps open and like, oh, someone's there. And we get the camera, the shot, and our eyes are searching the frame because there's shadows everywhere. What are we going to see? What's going to happen?
I love that the camera angle is pretty much from her perspective from the top of the stairs. So it gives you almost like a POV of just like not like just staying still and then hearing that scuttling and those weird sounds as that thing darts in.
And you hear the bell ring first. And that all the weird just alien sounds. Yeah, scuttling and it's weird sort of croaking. I don't know.
Well, she has these sort of like frosted glass panes that kind of like are just like this trim, and that's where you see like a shadow, and then the shadow just like slowly walks, and that's like that fucking those moments are like that's terrifying. It's chilling. Exactly. You feel that's creepy on so many levels. Because we know going in it's an alien. We know this is an alien movie. We're not fucking around at this point.
The poster for this is someone being lifted up by like a light
alien beam, it's clear
tractor beam thing.
Exactly.
Well, especially with this initial gray,
and then we get a moment of like it scuttling off too, like all within this kind of like frame of work happening here, which is.
And going into this, I had no idea what our alien design was going to be. It turned out to be a classic gray with sort of its own twist. You know?
Sure.
Its motions are really fucked up too, because it starts and it does this like breathing clicky thing, and then moves fast to slow. So it does this like. And then runs up to something and like checks lock. So it has this like levels of like intensity as you're going through, you know?
I think one of the scary things about its footsteps, aside from the like speed of the scuttling, is you can hear that they're like heavy. They thump.
Yes.
And there's something about the heavy thumping moving that quickly is unsettling. So suddenly it takes off into another room. Terrified, Bryn creeps back upstairs, but the floor creaks beneath her, and the commotion below stops. Bryn carefully slips out of her shoes, which would not stop the floor from creaking.
Not those shoes. She wasn't wearing like 20-pound boots. Like those were like light slippers.
Right.
Like, keep your slippers on.
The creature takes off. And she hides in a room as it runs to the top of the stairs and stops. So we still haven't got a full view of it yet. We're just kind of aware of where it is in the house.
But I think at this moment too, right as it goes out, you see the back of its like bulbous head, and I'm like, this. I was like, at that moment, I'm like, all right, we're doing something with like
profile.
A gray. We're doing something in that realm of like almost classic looking. So I was again creeped out and excited for it.
It's also one of the first times in a long time where a gray got me. As in like the traditional grays to me aren't super scary. You know what I mean? But this entire sequence of the buildup of seeing this gray and its motions and how it is honestly was very unnerving, where I was like, oh, cool. Okay, so this is like the first gray in a minute that actually fucking freaks me out. Like this was, I think it was just how it was shot, the buildup and the cat and mouse in the home invasion was just like added to that layer cake.
We don't see grays a lot, I feel like, as aliens because they're not scary. Like in a lot of all the alien movies I can think of, none of them are really a traditional gray alien. And that was one of the things the director said. He was like, I want to go back to that. You know, obviously there were a ton of movies like that, you know, in silly men in rubber suits type of thing. So nobody's made an attempt at doing it now. Not a rubber suit gray, like an actual scary gray was something he wanted the challenge of.
Totally.
I guess it goes to play towards the type of, aliens. They're not people or whatever they are. They're not people, man. No, whatever they, you know what I mean?
Like a species, or
as a species, what type of species they are. But like the fact that they emoted so much with their facial expressions made them less scary to me. When I think of a traditional gray, I think of it as a very emotionless face, big, terrifying eyes, and almost very emotionless to mean like not caring face, and that's what scares me about a gray, as opposed to something that can affect
for sure.
a little bit.
The eyes on these grays are awesome, though. When we
I think
see
that.
the
I mean,
eyes,
again, I
love
think it's
the look of the eyes.
Yeah, the texture,
awesome, which made me want to look at them. I was like, oh, I'm not scared. I'm interested.
So where is she?
She's up in her bedroom.
She hides. She tries to hide under the bed, but it's full of stuff, and she accidentally makes a loud noise while moving it.
Ooh.
Heavy pounding running towards the bedroom. She hides on the other side of the bed. The creature comes in, but can't find her. And she slides under the bed right when the creature jumps on top with a thump. And it's a jump scare, but it is effective and scary afterwards, too.
Yeah.
Like,
when this thing hops
yeah.
in the bed and then hops down, and then you actually see these weird ass
Finger toes.
Yeah,
Finger toes.
It's like,
What's up with finger toes?
No. And it was slightly humorous to me because this thing lands and I felt like it was going like, because it's like it's on its tippy
like
toes.
tiptoe.
It's literally its version of tiptoeing through the house, which I thought was like kind of funny, but also very off-putting because they're in like a circle, like it's a cylinder of fingers.
Yes.
Yeah, when it stands on all of them.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's like it walking or something.
But yeah, when
It's just
it jumped on the bed,
yeah.
that's when I wrote down that I love the sound design in this movie.
It's so good.
Just because of like you guys mentioned, the running, which you don't see the alien running up the stairs, but you hear it. You hear it running towards the bedroom, and you see her diving across the bed and getting on the other side of the bed right as the door opens. And you just see, at this point, you're just seeing the shadow and hints of this alien. And yeah, that
so
terrified me because quick story. I'm from Gulf Breeze, Florida. And I don't know if you guys have heard of Gulf Breeze.
Oh, I know. Yes.
There is a book called The Gulf Breeze UFO because we had a UFO scare at one point. And one of the stories that the main guy who was seeing the UFOs wrote about was that he woke up one night and he heard something outside and he opened the curtain, and staring back at him from outside right on the other side of the window was this gray, this alien. That scared the hell out of me as a teenage kid.
Yeah.
It scares me right now.
So this movie finally brought back that fear. And I love that.
Resurrecting childhood fears.
Yeah. And just like the sounds, like I'll admit it, I'm scared of the dark in ways. And so all of that plus that alien stuff, man, got me.
It's good.
Oh yeah.
It is very well executed. The suspense is fantastic. And again, the perspective, where she is hiding, we're seeing her perspective still of just seeing bits and pieces of the alien. It's just
love it.
Really well done. So it gets on its finger toes, goes to the window, does some sort of call out the window, climbs out, and then she gets up and closes the window. She comes out armed with a curling iron.
Yes, an unplugged curling iron, which I thought was amazing.
She's going around. She goes to the front door, looks around because it's still open, closes it, comes back into the house. Now the heavy footsteps are on the roof. Oh, she hasn't gone to the front door yet. Excuse me, because she runs to the front door and footsteps run to it. Suddenly all the electronics in the house flash on. She tries to use the phone when a loud ringing comes through the phone. Like she's on, picks it up and it she gets a feedback type of thing. Drops the phone. And the glass door next to her slams shut and all the glass breaks.
Because when she runs down the stairs too, the TV turns on, which turns on like a signal-esque, like staticky, warpy thing that she has to unplug the television. And then her jukebox too, she unplugs as well, right?
Yeah, everything's on.
Everything's on, yeah.
Everything on. I
honestly, I really do like this trope, where like the aliens can fuck around with like electricity and also mixing in now with like telekinesis, where like they're now moving objects inside of the house with on top of that. I think like having those layers to it was really cool because I was like, okay, cool. They're fucking with the electronics. I'm used to that. And then seeing like the whole like basically poltergeist action of just like shit slamming and opening and flipping and shit like that. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, because now the whole house is poltergeist action, exactly like you said. Fridge doors slamming and open and closed, cabinet doors, everything's kind of going wild for a moment. She tries to run out of the kitchen, but goes back in and hides when she sees a creature. And suddenly she hears the dial tone again from the phone. She peeks at the phone and sees an alien hand grab it and hang it up. And I think that's just a really cool shot. Suddenly, the fridge door is kicked open and it's sort of trapped her in her hiding spot behind the fridge door. And the alien creeps over and starts wrapping its finger over the doors.
I love that.
Just when it's about to peek over, she knocks the door open and goes running.
And I love that scene because as she goes running, the camera, we see her come out and then you see the alien just stand up and look over towards her. And then you just start hearing shit again. And it's so good.
Right. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of really good creepy moments here. Yeah, with the alien and like kind of in the background.
Sorry if you were about to say that, Sam.
No, I wasn't. You're good.
It's cool.
No, it's
creepy moments here.
No, it does. It has, man, it does really have, because like you're getting more of the aspect of the alien and its biology and stuff like that, where like you just have those long spindly fingers that go through, and just like, I think that's also, obviously we're getting to that point where she like actually sees this thing like in its full entirety, but like I think that's also one of my gripes with the movie is that this first alien is so powerful, as in telekinesis and being able to whip things around and move, is that I feel like the rest of the film past this point, having the spore guys, like the throat, like pod people basically, and then having the oversized arms and stuff like that, it was like, are they just fucking with her the whole time? Are they just toying with her?
Yeah,
because
I'm
like
just
this
confused.
is so overpowered. Like you have like a level 10 villain that could easily take this girl down, that like all of these other underlings, like it just seems, I don't know, it's weird.
I think the answer is yes, because they're interested in her. He took an interest in her when he heard the song and saw her dancing, and she's different than everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like living in her own world. So it's mimicking the song back, and they're just here to spread and check stuff out, you know.
I mean, I think they are trying to get her, and the thing I made a note of that on the contrary of what you thought, Ross, I thought it was brilliant how she always seemed to skate by and avoid any attack that the aliens presented her with an equal amount of just ingenuity and luck. Like a lot of it was luck.
Oh, totally.
And like the refrigerator.
This one's definitely luck.
Yeah, for sure. And the refrigerator I thought was brilliant, because normally in a scene like this, the alien would come up, you'd see the fingers, and then something would distract it and attract its attention away from the fridge. But there's a certain point where you're like, oh shit, it's not going to get distracted. It's about to see her. Yes, and she's about to get seen. And then she does the smart thing, which hopefully a lot of us would do. And that's, kick the door at the alien and run.
Oh, 100%. I feel like, and it's going to be a really weird comparison, but it's almost like an Alien versus Predator thing for me, is that like, I feel like this girl goes through like an entire test gauntlet, and her reward is her psychological independence and not being driven into the hive brain or whatever, like towards the end of it. Cause like she kind of was like, okay, you can just live in this society. Like you don't have to be a part of this alien collective. You're still your own person. And because like you've chuffed it out, I guess. Like, I don't know.
No, I think at a certain point the aliens do get respect for her, but up to this point, I think like this Gray is definitely trying to capture her, like it's trying to capture all the other people in the town.
To slime ball her.
Yeah, exactly. But she is escaping it, and maybe that is partly because she's lived on her own for so long, and she's become, what's the word, like I said, she has ingenuity in getting through things.
Oh, totally.
So she's about to run out the front door when it comes flying off the hinges, flying off the hinges and baps her in the head and knocks her out. Knocks her down pretty
I
good.
viscerally felt like I literally went, ooh, the second she got hit by that door, because it is like a meat thud. Like you feel her just like
it's a knock.
Yeah, like a jackass.
And they do
style.
great stuff again with the audio here for her like being out of it and coming back to her senses. She crawls her way to the living room, presumably to hide under a table. But just as she goes to hide under it, the table with all her minis, it goes flying against the wall with that telekinetic powers. Then she starts getting invisibly dragged back to the alien, and we see it using little subtle finger motions to kind of like herky-jerky call it towards her. And as she's getting dragged, she grabs a piece of the miniature.
It's like part of the school, right?
Yeah, with the bell on it, the bell house. Yeah, exactly. And it stands her up straight, whips her to face her, and as it does that, she throws her arm out and just happens to stick it right in the head, just as she did Maud.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
she mods
didn't
him.
think about that.
Ooh.
Didn't think about that, did you?
And it's like obviously one is like blind rage, killed someone by accident, and this one because it's like the look on her face when
They're both by accident.
The
alien actually killed himself.
Kind of, yeah, because like this one was like pure accident. Like she had it in her arms and was flailing, and then like just stabbed this thing in the side of the head.
Yeah.
Also, the reaction on the alien is fucking.
This is the first time we see it fully.
Yeah.
Once it has this in the side of its head. And then when we see its eyes almost look like galaxies, but also little craters. It's hard to tell what's going on. I dig it.
Galaxies and craters.
Yeah. My hit album coming soon. She sits against the wall. She's scared, staring at the alien body. Just being a scared person. Then boom, cut to daylight. She's still in the same spot, being a dazed person. Needs to pull it together. She pulls a piece of broken glass out of her foot. Dead alien's in the same spot. She covers it with like a rug, it looks like.
Yeah, like part of a blankety rug.
Yeah, I have rug or ornate blanket.
I love that its little weird circular finger things are just sticking out.
Yeah.
Poking out the back. She tries to call 911, but her phone won't work and the power is out again. She goes to her car, but that won't start either. She sees herself in the rearview mirror of her car and is like, oh, I need to clean up, and takes a shower. It's when we get blood going down the drain. She gets dressed to leave and decides to cover her front door hole with a couch. I don't know why.
It's that
keep out the deer.
Yeah, it's
No, I
kind of
think
like a
sure.
failed attempt of like trying some false sense of like having a barricade.
Security.
Yeah.
Now she's riding her bike into town. On the road, she comes across the USPS truck flipped upside down. She runs to the house of the neighbor that wouldn't wave to her, and it's all trashed. And we get a like crane shot or something that we see there's circles all over the grass. She goes to the police station and immediately runs into Maud's parents.
Yes.
So she gets to town. She's finally worked up the nerve to go in there. Runs right into the parents. So at this point was when the writer-director of the movie, this was the first, while writing the first draft of this movie, this was the first time he was going to write any dialogue. And he hadn't even thought about the fact that he hadn't. And it was like 40-something pages in, and he knew what the rest of the movie was going to be, and that she wouldn't really have any reason to speak with any other characters. So the dialogue that he was going to have in this scene, he decided to cut because he was like, you know what, I don't need it. I can have her start to speak. She'll get spit on. The mom will leave, and, you know, we'll have the dad look sad or whatever. But I was just telling them that when the guy wrote it, that this part was going to have dialogue, and it was the only part of the movie, but it decided to cut that.
Yeah.
And that's where we are.
I feel
Funny
like
enough, I'll be honest. Like the first time I watched this movie, I was so enthralled with the entire movie that I didn't realize that it had no dialogue until after it was over, and I was like looking at other people's reactions, and they were like, "This movie only had 5 words of dialogue," and I was like, "Oh wow, shit, they're right."
I didn't think they said anything.
That's crazy. No, I just didn't realize. I didn't even think about it because I was just engrossed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, totally. I feel though that like I understand that you murdered your best friend by accident. And I know the town hates you. But you literally just had an alien try murdering you in your own home, and its rotting corpse is just hanging out. I feel that even after the mom and dad scene, you would probably alert somebody to what is going on. As much as the internal conflict is going on, like
well, she has a panic attack, so she steps outside.
Yeah.
Panic attack.
And goes to like calm down from her panic attack, and then sees the bus and is like, fuck it, I'm just gonna leave on a bus.
Yeah, because when she's walking into town to go to the police station, everyone she walks by is like glaring and like giving dirty looks.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, she's in town.
She's here. It's still that is the craziest part to me, is that every single fucking person in this town hates her with a burning passion to this day.
And that's the thing. Like, I agree with Ross in a way that I'm just like, oh, just say something. Jeez, just tell these people what happened.
Yeah.
But then I think she's gone through 10 years of this entire town shunning her for killing her
would they even
friend,
listen if
you
she
know?
said anything?
Exactly. So that's her mind, her thought process. She walks into the police station. She immediately gets spit in the face. So, and then the other 2 people behind the counter are like,
I do love the
just
fact when she buys the ticket is that she's trying to go incognito, so she just gets a hat
Sunglasses
and
and
sunglasses.
Classic incognito look. All she needed was a mustache. Yeah. She goes, has a panic attack, sees the bus, gets on the bus, top down shot of the bus leaving, and we see all the lawns throughout town have rings.
Yeah.
All of them. Not doing well. Man in the back of the bus, who's our USPS driver, gets up, sits right behind her. All of this is done very creepy. Good job on it. She gets up because she's uncomfortable from him sitting right behind her. He grabs her. She goes to escape. We see the little weird throat. There's something inside that man's throat.
The alien Adam's
making
apple
alien noises.
Is disgusting.
Yeah, exactly. Now an alien lady grabs her. Now alien passengers are attacking non-alien passengers. The bus stops and Bryn runs away. And she is fast as fuck. That's actually a real cool shot. We follow the USPS driver get out. And then the camera like pulls out more and more till it's next to her. And yeah, she's cooking. That actress probably did a lot of running for this movie. Got her steps.
A lot of cardio. Where I was like, and even this aspect, I thought the like this kind of alien as well, I thought was really interesting, but it's so different than the gray that we just dealt with. At first, I was like, is this like Dueling Banjos of Invasion? Like, are there multiple aliens trying to tear? Like, they just
you're supposed
conveniently show up at the same
on?
time. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It kind of, even on the rewatch, in a good way, where I was like, oh, this is weird. Like, okay, so like now they're not only abducting people, but they're also converting or changing them. Very, very pod people. I like it.
Which, if we think about it, that is a 4th type of alien, because I'm pretty sure the little thing that goes into their mouth and sits in their throats is an actual organism itself, right?
Yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah.
So
it's like a throat. It's like the
4th kind.
The 4th kind. Ha! I see what you did there, Sam. But it's also like a weird Matrixy thing too, because it's like once that thing's in them, it puts them in this weird mental utopia, right?
Presumably,
seems like it. Yes.
Yeah.
Bryn makes her way to a church, but its doors are locked, and she's by another cemetery. But this one, she's not too pleased to be near. She walks over, and it's Maud's grave.
I like
Maud Collins' beloved daughter, 2000 to 2012.
I like the like she's trying to unlock the front door. She goes to the side door, and then she glares over at the cemetery, and literally goes like, "Fuck no, I'm not doing that." And then she goes, all right, yeah, I guess I got to go over there. And at first I thought it was like, fuck no, I don't want to hide in a graveyard. And then when it really is like kind of presented where it's like,
interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was just like, I'm not.
I knew immediately. I was like, oh, Maud's buried over there.
And then when it was Maud's grave, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Now we get ominous storm clouds rolling in. Perhaps alien ships in there.
Hell yeah, they are.
Well,
we get Independence Day
thunder
clouds
rolls.
coming in.
mm-hmm.
And the lightning strikes.
And-
do. The aliens
Ross, we're gonna get a copyright strike.
Oh, all right, fine.
Oh yeah, good. And spoof it.
The aliens come in the dead of night. Boom, boom, boom.
Ominous storm clouds. Yeah, blah blah blah. Massive thunder clouds take over the whole town. She is back at her neighbor's house. There's a bunch of people in the yard with their palms pointed to the sky, worshiping, being all weird.
I like how these aliens have to vogue to get the other ships to, like, you know, beam them up, beam them down, attract different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we haven't gotten to that yet, but there is plenty of it. That's like their communication. So these people are praying, then they look over, make a face at her, and she takes off again. She gets back home, peers in her doorway, sees that the alien's still there. Apparently it stinks now because she makes a PU face.
There's some flies.
She notices some goo liquid coming out from under the whatever it is. And
Yeah, and like crawling out.
yeah, looks under it and it looks like it came from its mouth, and she follows the snail trail outside and disappeared
In the
into
bushes.
flowers.
See,
Yep.
okay, this is also why I had the idea of like a parasitic creature in these grays, where I was like, oh, okay, so this gray also had something crawl out of its throat and leave its dead body.
I can understand why you had that idea.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, I'm in a pussy cake movie. This is all right. Okay, I could be on board with this. And also having like alien inception, I thought would be like, oh, an alien in an alien invasion.
I had the same thought.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. I had the same thought as you.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. Because it's just, because especially when you see the guy on the bus with like the throat, like,
Yeah. Although I've never seen Pussy Cake, so I didn't make that connection.
All right, I'm just letting you know, Pussy Cake's
Different vibes.
very different vibes.
Very different.
Very different vibes. I would absolutely recommend watching Pussy Cake.
Yeah,
Okay.
we love it.
She calms herself down after looking in the flowers, puts on a time to get to work face, starts lighting candles, fireplace, boiling water on stovetops, grabs a box cutter, shutters the house, nails a blanket over the couch and the door hole.
Okay.
And
I love the fact that she's outside closing the shutters with the bolt that's also on the outside of the house. Where I'm like, this is an alien. He's going to just unslide that, but that's fine.
it's who knows, wind. Maybe they got some wind powers. Yeah, they can like have all this telekinetic stuff, but just lock them from the outside. That'll work. White and orange lights start coming through the windows. The nails in the blanket start popping out, pushing their way out. She hides and the couch flips over. Bright white light is on, and the dead one, it's on like shining through the hallway through the door hole. And the dead one levitates in the air and out the door. It is Ross's background right now.
I'll put it in the Discord.
If you were wondering what's Ross's background tonight.
I know that background has been killing me the entire episode. I love it.
Light starts shining in all her windows, and she hides in the basement. An alien enters the house, like the main part of the house, through the door hole.
Now, this is Little Fucker, right?
This is Little Fucker,
Okay.
yeah.
Little Fucker reminds me of like a...
Yeah, he's upstairs, then we get another one that comes in downstairs through the cellar
which
door.
is the
Okay.
another taller, normal gray.
Tall gray.
regular
gray.
Yeah.
Right.
The Little
Regular.
Fuckers to me are like, he is so weird.
Seems like a dog or something.
Well, it's also like it has these weird positions that it makes, so it gives this like totem look. You know what I mean? Like I was
This
expecting
is the
like
first one we
sure.
see that really starts voguing.
yes,
posing.
Yeah.
And posing.
huge.
Yes.
And when
Why
he does
does
it
he
at the end of
pose
that
at her?
hallway,
What?
it's just like, it's just so creepy because she's just backing away from it and it's just sitting there. And that
all perched.
to
all
me, that
fucked up and
terrifies
weird.
me. Yeah.
Making the clicky click sounds. See, what's fucked me up is that I thought the little fucker morphs into Daddy Longlegs dude. Like it's like a stage of it as it like it gets irritated and then like bows and flexes itself and then turns into that thing.
No, they are
separate entities.
Definitely that I can say for sure. They're separate entities.
Now, real quick,
what is the little? Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay.
We're not even on the little fucker right now.
Yeah. So the whole thing with the little fucker and even the Greys, I'm going to call back to one of the taglines because everything inside the house that we've talked about and that we're about to talk about reminded me of the raptor scene from Jurassic Park. And
it's actually a really good comparison.
And it's interesting because the tagline said something about 6.5 million home invasions every year. And how long ago were the dinosaurs? 65 million. Callback.
Yep, absolutely. But that scene in particular plays with perspective a lot, right?
Yeah.
It's like where people are hiding and all that stuff.
And also her using intelligence to escape, but also luck to an extent. That whole thing. It just totally reminded me of the Raptors.
So she's down in the cellar. She's thinking she's going to sneak out through the cellar door when that gets lit up by a bright light. She hides under like a desk. Or no, she just hides and the door flies open. Bright light shining inside. Regular Grey comes in. While hiding, she snags some scissors. Now she's hiding under the desk. Something gets knocked over. She looks at it, turns back around, and the Grey is just sitting there staring at her.
One of my favorite scenes in the entire movie.
Great moment. Great moment. She freaks out, runs out from under the desk, and he shoots the desk right at her. So she drops down under it as it smashes against the wall.
I also like he's in that weird sitting position.
Just, hello. It's like he was just like waiting to be noticed to try and be like, let's talk. But also not, because I just want to convert you, but I'm interested in you. It's a whole...
Yeah, they're so overpowered where like he fucking like flips the scissors into the thing and then like forces the...
Yeah, so he freezes her here.
Yeah.
And then makes the scissors fly out of her hand, and she's then holding a picture of Maud, and he rips it out of her hand as well using his force power, but he really has to work it on that one because she wants to hang on to it. And while he's checking that out, she runs out the stairs.
Now that's a good point, and that goes along with what Ross is saying too. He does have these powers, but I don't know if I'd call him like a level 10 villain, because the fact that she's even able to hold on to the picture frame as long as she is able to means that there is a limit to how strong he can pull things and push things and what have you.
It's almost like the willpower, or like it's almost like the battle of the brains. You know what I mean? Where like she has and maybe like fueled by passion or, will.
It's like they're Green Lanterns.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
So what happens now? She's run upstairs, and this is when we get the little fucker. It jumps on her. It's trying to pin her to the ground. She takes a bite out of its arm, and it goes to the hallway wounded, and it like shows her his arm like as if to say, lady? Not cool. Yeah, I love that.
When he like hunches over, it's like if like it moves almost like a monkey. You know what I mean? So like it almost had that like, what the fuck? It's like, I was just trying to rip your face off. Like, why the fuck are you biting me?
Yeah, absolutely. Then she starts pummeling it with the boiling water pots. Bang, bang, bang. Just hitting it with the pots, boiling water. She runs across the door hole hallway and holds up the pot, and the bright light comes on. Boom. And smashes the pot against the wall that she's like holding because a little bit catches the light. And you can see like the whole thing dents and it's just being held there. And then little fucker pops up and it's looking at it from across the light, and then starts walking right through the light, no problem.
I literally like when that happened, I was like, oh fuck, because I was expecting anything that was in that beam of light to be force pushed And then when he organically just like walks through it and nothing happens, you're like, oh no. Oh, goo.
And this is when it like says something to her, and this is when I called it the crumping pose, but voguing, whatever you want to call it. This is when we get its first like display. Peacocking, maybe. Maybe like this.
Peacocking.
Huh? Ooh. She makes her way down the hall and shuts the door right before it tries to break through. She tries to climb out the window, but it grabs her, so she starts mopping him up, just kind of mopping him with a mop.
Pulls a Toxic Avenger and starts slapping him with a mop.
Yep. And then it hits the mop, which breaks it, and then she stabs him, spears him into the dresser, and it's kind of screaming, and then she slams its head with the dresser door and presumably kills it. So that's another alien down. Little fucker is
on
out.
my rewatch of this, I was watching it with my wife, and it gets impaled in the shoulder, and it immediately was like, she's like, oh my god, hit it, just stab it in the head. And that's immediately when she slams the door. She goes, oh, that'll do it.
Sure will. She tries to... No, we did that.
Dives out the window.
Now she gets out the window. Yeah. This is when we get our first daddy long legs. It pops up from the shed, comes out and around, and starts posing for her. Doing a lot of posing.
This fucking dude. It's a ghost face. Like, this is a ghost face alien. Like, it goes on the fucking roof. It goes over and then just fucking trips and falls and eats shit. Like, like
not
oh,
here.
this is not. That's not the scene.
No,
it's coming up in like a minute, but it's right
there's
after
there's
it
a
pops its
spaceship
head
scene
out.
first.
Oh, okay.
But like when it first pops its head out, that's a creepy scene too, because you just see its two little glowing eyes in the background.
We just see it appear
its...
on top of the shed, and then it walks out from around it. So it's not like we think it's like something climbed on top, but it's like this tall creature that walks out from behind it. It's really cool. And then runs into USPS guy, and he starts dragging her towards a ship along with Daddy Longlegs. It signals something to the ship. The ship signals back with like concentric.
Wait, this is after it falls and eats shit, right?
Cool. No, that
hasn't happened yet. Okay.
I will get to it, Ross. You think I didn't make a note of it? So she tries to break loose of the guy and kicks him, and he falls back just as the beam comes down to where she was being held. So half of his body is like being held in the beam, and it starts lifting him up, and it's just a gorgeous shot. It looks so cool. But must realize it got the wrong guy because it turns off the lighting and it just falls to the ground.
I feel like if this was an R-rated movie, like it would go up and then like there'd be half a torso that would just flop down. Like whatever wasn't in the beam that didn't get sucked up into the ship would just like drop down.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
This is where we actually see that these light beams are what's leaving the rings in the ground. You just kind of got to notice it, which I like. Daddy Longlegs seems disappointed by this turn of events.
Wait. Did you mention the way that the ship separates?
No.
It's almost like rings.
Right after it drops the guy, we see the ship, and it seems to like separate into like separate smaller ships that just like fly off in different directions.
Like a Russian doll of ships.
Or was that my imagination?
It wasn't. They do. I don't know we never see anything kind of like that.
I don't know what's happening there.
So I don't really
and they never do it
what's
again.
happening.
It's just that one time, but it's like that kind of freaked me out too.
Implied lore stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chock full of that.
It does bring so many different cool elements that I've never seen in a science fiction movie before. Like this, like the almost like a dividing cell, as in like it's this mothership and then just breaks off into other like smaller ships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Longlegs seems disappointed. Bryn takes off and runs around Longlegs comes running after her. She runs around the house and seems to have lost him, but she tries to go inside and he throws something down from the roof at her. Longlegs stands on top of the roof and does this huge like roar call thing and then you can hear other ones responding back.
And then
to
there's
it.
the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real powerful.
He's like howling at the moon,
Right.
like
It's
Ozzy Osbourne.
They're were aliens.
Yes.
Whirlians. And
Back at the
now
moon.
he sets his sights back on Bryn, starts heading towards her, and very sillily crashes off the roof and falls
audibly
to the
laughed
ground.
out loud. It was
Like it trips over himself.
It was just like such a weird scream moment, whereas like they're chasing after her, and then like he trips up on his own garbs and like falls over the railing. Where I was just like, oh,
I thought it was
It
brilliant.
totally deflates everything that's happening.
it's so. Yeah, I think it's just because
I'm not sure how I feel about it still.
I think it's just there's no for me. I feel like there's barely any cohesion between the throat Adam's apple pod people, the daddy long legs, the little fucker, and the Greys. As in, like it's almost like
they all kind of look. Other than I could see with the throat thing, but the other three all look the same kind of.
I guess behavior. I don't know. It almost seemed like four different kinds of aliens, and they couldn't decide on which one to put in the movie, so they put all 4 aliens in the movie. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's so funny.
Well, it's an interesting.
It was deliberately not that, so it's funny that you didn't get that, or you got the opposite.
It's funny because I feel like they all look like a different version of a Grey. You got your kind of classic Grey, then you got the little fucker, which is a little weird version of the Grey, then Daddy Longlegs Grey. I thought they all did look similar.
Yeah.
Which is funny, I think is interesting because like if you think of the little fucker as like this, I don't know, like dog type of creature, it'd be like us as humans like sicking like a little version of ourselves on someone, and then there's also like a gnome. Bigger version of ourselves. It's like this weird, it's like it's an interesting idea that it's like they're kind of the same species but like not, because they're so different within a species to have so many different characters. Like I was just very confused about
which
as you said, there is a hierarchy. I'm confused about it. And the more Ross talks about like the parasite really controlling them all, I think it is a different alien at this point that is controlling the Greys. And I think that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, because it's like when Daddy Longlegs starts like
the end blows that out of
growing more, because like there's scenes where like they kind of like his limbs get bigger and stuff like that. Every time you see that weird potty tendril throat thing happens in the aliens too, where I'm like, okay, so it's like this parasite has got latched onto these dudes or this other species.
Is that the parasite or is that the vibration of their necks when they're talking? Because they also like that's how they talk. They don't talk with like a voice. They ripple and their throats go.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think the parasite is that their way of taking things over. I don't think
I agree.
It controls them.
I think it was just a fun way to.
I was just trying to make it make sense in my brain. You know what I mean?
I thought it was perfect. I like that the alien tripped after it got off the roof.
Fuck!
It just made it like fallible. You know,
true.
Like it's not perfect.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It doesn't fit the tone of the rest of the movie. There are other ways to deflate what's happening.
You know what it meant?
It just doesn't work for me. It's too silly.
It meant that the aliens are only human.
Well,
I mean, I guess so, because this leads into the shit that's happening where he gets chased into the car and can't figure out how to get out of that.
Well, what's cool here is when it sees her at the car, but it's upside down and starts like crab walking upside down.
That's why I
at her.
thought the parasite thing, because the guy in the bus did the same shit. Where I was like, because
he's an alien now.
Yeah. And the parasites are part of the species.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
the flip. It's like the Reagan crab walk, which is also awesome. I'm not dismissing like the Daddy Longlegs
with an alien.
Scary as shit. Like it's just super off-putting.
You're not wrong. Yeah. Again, I love
so it comes, tries to get her through the car. As it's doing that, it's so strong it punches through the floor of the car, and its hand gets stuck.
Yeah.
In
the metal.
It can't pull its hand back out of the bottom of the car.
Yes.
And gas is starting pouring everywhere. So Bryn's like, I'm going to light this guy on fire. And boy, does she. And I don't know about you guys, but I really want to know what that smelled like afterwards.
It didn't smell good.
I was going to say,
You never know.
like deep fried
Might smell
calamari
like chicken.
would be the closest thing. I don't know why. I feel like they don't even have tendrils or tentacles.
I feel like they're
One of them
fishy.
isn't a penis.
The throat ones do.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with the throat ones, obviously with octopus logic, one of them has to be a wiener, right?
Yeah, whichever one's
okay.
curled in, not really reaching out.
With octopus logic.
Protected.
Octopus logic.
Mm-hmm.
We stand by octopus logic here at Chuddle the Pod.
Tractor beam is back. It chases Bryn inside, and she runs inside her childhood bedroom. An alien follows her in, and now we are in the bedroom, and we see tons of pictures of Bryn and Maud as kids. She tries to sneak attack the alien while it's in there looking at all these photos, but with a flick of the wrist, it sends her through a wall.
That's what I'm saying. Like, fucking
I think it was
so powerful.
Was it through the wall or through the door?
It's through a
The
wall,
wall.
which is
It was
nuts.
through the wall.
Yes.
Okay.
Where it's like, God, these fucking normal grays are so overpowered. This movie could have been like 20 minutes, which I think is hilarious.
Well, they're playing. It's cat and mouse. They're just interested in
experimenting.
her.
Yeah.
They're seeing. Yeah, they absolutely are. Just like, well, I don't know if most home invasions are that way or not, but that's a lot of it. Is just
the cat and mouse
toying
kind
with
of
your victim. Yeah, the dynamic. So she gets sent through the wall. Bryn, now pretty fucked up, crawls along the floor. The alien pursues her. She stands at a window, sighs, and gets blasted by a red light that freezes her.
Mm-hmm.
Bangs her against the floor and the ceiling and the floor. Does this a couple times because they are playing
I
with
just
her.
thought it was like
But
If
why?
there's any way to illustrate
apprentice
it anymore.
alien is
Yeah, I
on the raid
guess
for the
so,
first time.
right?
He goes, all right, so I got to hit this button, and it just slams her. You go, no, you got to hit the other one. Slams her on the bottom. Goes, let me do it. Let me do this. It finally gets her like level.
I don't know why they're doing it at this point.
This entire sequence
Did
was shot.
show her
amazing.
like who's in charge.
Like obviously having it
I don't
bathed
know.
in red light, like the cinematography for this entire paralysis scene was so fucked and so good.
It
Yeah.
looks cool. I like the perspective shot from her from the ceiling, seeing the alien walk down beneath
And
her
then
and look
float
up
up.
at
It's
her.
like, ooh.
Just all of that is much more effective to me than having her get banged around a couple times. If it was just like pushed up into the ceiling and then led into the alien, that's
I'm with
creepy.
you.
The paralysis itself is the creepy part
yeah.
for me. That's creepy enough. Which paralysis is a funny thing. Can you move your eyes? I was just thinking about it randomly. Like when you look at like any sort of thing where someone's paralyzed.
Yeah, there's a lot of like
But
when you
they're
have like
always like, oh, I've put you into a paralytic state, but they're always like wiggling their eyes around or something. I was like, can you do that?
like stuff I've at least
Ross, you would know. You've paralyzed people.
funny
We do this
enough
a
for a
lot.
psychology class I had to do stuff on night terrors. But in certain kinds of sleep paralysis, you can move your eyes around and stuff. That's why like people see like shadows in the corner of the room or creatures, like they can still track things with their eyes, but they're not like, but their whole body is completely locked down. It's like your brain's awake, but your body is completely still in sleep mode. So like you can,
Sure, I guess that makes sense. That's a different scenario
Well,
than
to
actively
me, I
being
wasn't thinking
paralyzed.
of
I was
her
thinking-
as being paralyzed so much as paralyzed as in like she can't move so much as she's being held, if that makes sense.
No, I
Like
mean,
she's being force held against the ceiling so she can still move her eyes because it's just like,
sure.
I mean, when Darth Vader holds people with the Force, they can still move their eyes.
Sure.
Right?
that's true.
Well,
Right,
just I
so
mean,
I'm-
this scene led to a general thought of that in particular.
sure.
Of just okay, I've put
in
you
movies, like somebody
movies.
gets like injected in the neck, so
Exactly.
now they can't move, but
Right.
they're looking all around at what's happening.
Right.
I hear you.
I mean, it's a good
I'm
question.
Just
I don't know.
wondering.
Seems like you
And
shouldn't
now,
be able
because
to.
of this, I am going to pay attention to any paralysis in a movie to see if they're moving
We'll
their
have,
eyes.
we'll have a tally.
I bet Google
Watch
can't
it
answer.
never happen. It's some weird thing I've made up. But there you go. Continue.
All right.
Brian was wrong.
So alien approaches, rolls its eyes in the back of his head, and starts coughing up a hairball that's a weird little tentacle alien creature. We've mentioned it before. This is the first time we really see it. We've seen them in the sort of underneath the skin of people who've been infected before. And it starts floating towards her. She's like, I don't want that. And the alien makes her open her mouth, and it goes
that
on.
Fucking
in there.
shot of it going into her mouth and then her eyeball going in the completely wrong direction.
oh my
and then
God.
cutting.
Yes. Just the one
Creepiest shot of the entire fucking movie for me. Because I was not
interesting.
prepared for that eye just to fucking just unhinge itself. And I literally I solid 3 inches off of my couch the first time I saw that. I was like, go! All right.
That was the poop beneath him.
It was, yeah.
Now she wakes up in bed screaming. Oh, it must have all been a nightmare. How wonderful. It's daytime now. Bryn's confused but relieved, seemingly down to think it was all a dream. She hears, joyous people outside and goes to check it out. Her house is no longer a wreck. The camera starts shaking in an alien way, and a very dreamlike person comes to her. Bryn says this is the only time we get any words spoken in the movie, Scotty. So when you weren't sure when it was, it's here. And she says, I'm sorry, Mom.
Again, I was just so...
I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah. No, that I was so engrossed in the movie that it didn't even register. I'm just like,
Well,
She's
I like
sorry.
that
down my
in
face
this sequence, it goes from like what you consider like normal shots. And then when she starts realizing it is Maud, or it tries manifesting Maud in her brain, that it becomes
a very out of focus.
That's because it becomes non-reality. And I think her brain is starting to realize, like, if she's seeing her dead friend at this age, there's absolutely no way that's possible. So like the second reality starts slipping in this dream world, that's when you start getting the really blurry offhand shots and stuff like that, which I thought was really a cool way of presenting like her fighting whatever this like brain utopia is that the aliens are pumping into.
So she then fists her throat to pull out the tentacle ball. Then she squishes it in her hand when she gets it out.
Piece of shit.
And we're back to nighttime. She's like in her front yard now or something, looking dirty as hell. A loud alien alarm goes off and comes to the rescue of the tentacle ball.
I really do like how she squeezes it. She loses it. She's like, God damn it. And she starts like running, like skirting after it as it's like, fuck no.
Sounds like Blade from Puppet Master. So she then the light beam is like lowered to rescue the little tentacle ball, but it just like sends somebody down for it to climb inside of, which I thought it makes was like a fun little touch.
Well, it's like a Bryn clone, basically.
Oh, is that who?
Yeah, that's who it becomes.
She climbs in there? Okay.
It kind of manifests her as well. It didn't seem like it beamed anybody down. It seemed like
it grows within there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. Yeah. You guys are right. That is what's happening.
Which is kind of an interesting concept because it's like the people towards the end of this movie, are they humans inhabited by this parasite, or by this logic now, are they infected? They get their DNA like posed and then the aliens make these creatures that are humanoid.
I think
I have the same question.
I think we're supposed to think that they're infected because of seeing the throat balls in them. But
yeah. And I think the throat ball was in the fake Bryn as well, though.
I know.
So I think it's just the fact that I think the rest of the town is the actual people that were infected. I think at this point, Bryn has proven herself strong enough that when she saw the vision of Maud in her dream, she was like, she immediately knew
this is bullshit.
That, this is. I
don't know why that.
And now I remember her. Now I remember her saying, "I'm sorry," because that's what she does. She's like, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry."
Almost
Maud.
like I want to stay here, but I can't.
Yeah, I know this is not real, and I don't know that the other people in the town would have had the strength of mind to do that.
Well, yeah, because they're busy being assholes all the time.
But then it's crazy because the aliens have like a plan B. if somebody pulls the thing out, guess what?
We'll
We can just
scratch it.
create you.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand, though. Like, why? And why send
And then
your
you're-
doppelganger to go
So it's like the
kill
alien version of the
you?
morning after pill.
Well,
if it doesn't work, then-
Obviously, the doppelganger's going to kill you because there can't be two of you.
Right, but up till now, you've just wanted to control someone. Now you just want to make a copy of them and control that instead?
Well, now it's got her.
Mhm.
I guess.
Yeah. See?
And then, well, you keep going because we're going to talk about this.
Now Bryn is wandering the woods alone at night. She hears footsteps and is greeted by herself. The doppelganger stabs her, and while embracing her, gets stabbed in the neck by box cutters.
Now, question: does she get stabbed in the gut with the same piece of wood that she stabbed the fucking alien in the head with? Because it's a
No.
piece of wood or something like that the alien has. It's not a knife.
I don't think it's the same
Okay.
model, but that'd be cool if it is.
I'll have to.
You're
yeah.
right, it is a piece of wood. It looks like a broken chair or something. It's definitely not the church house bell model thing.
But what if it
What if it
was?
was?
Then I would be wrong.
And then box cutter. in the
Bryn
throat.
watches her doppelganger die and holds her body closely. Now Bryn is walking down a road. She stops when she hears an alien in front of her. Another daddy long legs.
This scene was really. This shot was really cool of that thing emerging out of the
Yeah.
darkness.
Really long one. And it emerges from the darkness, looks cool. She backs up and boom, tractor beamed into space. Into a spaceship, rather. Flung into the vacuum of space.
Frozen icicle movie
And
ends.
she survives.
Inside the ship, the floor is water and the walls look like stars. She is stuck in a light beam and the aliens
Beautiful.
surround her. One touches her forehead and now she's in a memory. She and her mom are working on a model. They get frozen light beamed. Maud runs by and out of the house. Outside, Bryn pursues the house.
Oh, the grieving dad out front.
Oh yeah, she gets outside and it's everybody's frozen. It's the police,
Chief. Yeah.
yeah, the police chief and all sorts of police around. And yeah, he's like screaming on his knees. Bryn trips and now she's in the memory of Maud in the woods. Maud pushes her to the ground. Angry Bryn grabs a rock, gets up and hits Maud in the head with it. This must be when she killed her. We finally
Brutal.
know how it went
Brutal.
down. Everyone is frozen in red. Everything's frozen in red. Now she's at a table with her younger self who is writing a letter to Maud. She reaches out to grab her younger self's hand. The light turns white. Aliens watch the spotlit Bryn from a distance. So she's like forgiving herself here is kind of what we're
do you
supposed
think
to be
it's like
getting, right?
Yeah. That's kind of like you're
Yeah.
kind of forgiving yourself. But also, like, from the outsider's perspective, do you think after this woman has now killed, 3 different kinds of aliens at this point, and then they scan her brain and realize at 12 years old she rocked her best friend in the head to death, where they kind of just like, you know what, we're cool, you can just fucking, you know what, we don't need to convert you, you're fine, we're gonna just drop you off, okay,
We'll make you a happy little town to live in instead. I don't. Yeah.
It's kind of that, like, we're not fucking
Well,
with her anymore.
I think, and it goes. I was confused about this the first time I saw the movie, but then this time it did make more sense because it's what you guys said, what Sam said about she wants to be accepted by the town. The aliens now know this. They also know that the entire town basically hated her, and they know that if they just let her be, she's gonna just live this happy life with all these alien townspeople now. And yeah,
But
that's
why
it.
do this for her? The only thing I can see.
Because she's killed so many, and she's constantly escaped every single attack that they've thrown at her. And even when they make a clone and the clone stabs her, she gets out of that. So they're like, you know what? Let's bring her up to the ship and study her for a second and figure out why she's so good at escaping
Well,
us.
the only thing I can see is because she's different and they're just interested and they want to observe it. Fine. Just say that. But if this is some religious thing where they're bringing God to everybody, why would she be any exception? Like, why would you want to let her do her thing.
Well, the whole
She
God
hasn't
thing, that's from the interview you read?
Yeah.
So I see, because I did not get that from the
Because
movie.
like when they talk directly to the ship at this part,
Yeah.
you know how so right after this they take the finger off the hand, they all start chatting, and they talk directly to the ship.
Yeah.
When they talk to the ship, that is to them, that is the voice of God when the ship talks.
Right.
And it is not like a faith so much as like this is God and we follow God's orders type of deal.
And see, I didn't think of it as God. Even, you're getting that from the
didn't
interview.
either.
Yeah.
I got it from the interview, and so with that perspective, it makes it harder than, we just go places and study things because we're just here. We've taken over. We're watching everybody. You're a fun little experiment for us. It's the only way I do think that they were. Sense.
I think that they were invading the Earth. I think that they were trying to convert every single human into this alien species. I do think that, like, they were malevolent for sure.
Well, they're not
and then,
malevolent.
at the end,
they're bringing the Bible. They're bringing the safety.
See, but there's nothing in the movie that actually tells us this.
No. Sure. I would agree.
That's the interview.
Yeah.
But if you think about
And
conquering, it makes sense. There's plenty of
sure.
It's one of
movies
those
that don't.
It does make sense.
Tell you.
Yeah.
But then I didn't think of it as God.
Totally.
When I saw the movie without having read the interview or heard what you've said, I just thought of the big light of the ship being just this
command.
I guess I did think of it as kind of a God, but but like their commander, the high command. Thank you. Perfect. And I honestly don't see them as toying with Bryn the entire movie. I see it as them trying to do the same thing to her as they've done to all the other townspeople, but she is proving to be different. She's escaping their clutches. She's killed one of their own. And now, what the hell? She killed one of us? We've got to send in more, but she's escaping even these. And then she killed the daddy longlegs, the quadruped. She even killed one of those. Now we're going to clone her because we finally got the thing in her mouth, but she figured out to take it out. Jesus. So now let's clone her and kill her real body. Oh no, she got out of that too. And then so
we'll just
we take her up
give her
into
a
the
happy
ship.
life instead.
No, it's such a take.
That's what God
They
said.
realize she's
Right.
like, if no other human has ever done that before, she's like, oh my God, this is like Conan the Barbarian of human beings. Like maybe we should just placate her so she doesn't do like kill all of us.
Exactly. And like they study her, they see what is going on, why she's done what she's done. She sees her able to forgive herself. And for whatever reason, God or the high command tells all the other aliens, let her be. Just heal her.
Why?
I don't know.
That's up to your interpretation, Sam.
Doesn't make. I can't find.
And that's
a reason
what
to
I
make
do
it make
love that in
sense.
movies.
Other than
Alien logic, bro.
Just to see what happens.
I just see it as she is not like any of the other townspeople. She's already shunned by them, and the high command realizes that it's not going to hurt anything for them not to convert her as well. She's going to be part of her happy little solitary life, and she's going to be even happier now that the townspeople, the alien fake townspeople, now seem to like her.
Is that real happiness though, or is that even more fucked up than what you were in before? And plus, she breaks the fourth wall and
I don't
stares straight at
understand
the camera with her gesture
implication.
and smile. What the fuck is going on there? Is that to the aliens, or like? And look at me, I'm playing along and I'm happy. So
it's a good question, but I saw it as her looking at the alien high command thing, whatever it was, just looking up into the sky at it.
But to me, the director also said this is supposed to be her having a happy ending, and I do not view it that way either. So,
well, that's one thing I appreciate about the movie, though, because it does, for her, it's a happy movie, but from us, the audience looking from the outside, do we feel like it's a happy ending?
I don't.
And that's up to each person. And you don't. I kind of do. But I also realize that she's fucked up because everything's accidental. Like, she didn't do anything on purpose. She didn't kill her friend on purpose. She just wanted to hit her with a rock, and guess what? It killed her.
Right.
What if that's her superpower? Is that she has the power to she just accidentally
kill
murders
people.
everyone she comes in contact with. So she has to like,
that's it.
Isolate herself.
I'm not sure what they're doing here either, but so they release her, right? They're up in the ship, they send her back down, and then we see, like, it's almost like they put on a little light show for her, because we just see multiple colors lit on her face, and she kind of giggles at it. I don't know what that is happening there either.
From this point until the end of the movie gets so surreal that I don't even know if what you're watching towards the end of, like, when she wakes up and does the you know what I mean? Like, is that even fucking real? Like, at that point, like, I almost feel like Bryn could have died when they dropped her off, because she still has a massive gut wound that
I
they
think
did
it's
not,
real.
you know?
I think they healed her. I think the bright light, the little colorful lights.
Mostly, I think it's real because we see all when it pans out, we see all the alien ships all over everywhere, just watching everybody, and I don't know why that would be in Bryn's, like, made up heaven world
Hellscape.
Why that would also exist.
What do you think, Brian?
I mean, I have as many questions as Sam does when I think about it more. I don't understand the aliens' motive for anything. And if they're doing a world invasion, domination all going on at the same time, I'm sorry, but remember, you're unique just like everyone else. Like, there's no way she's the only person they're encountering that has had some sort of trauma that would fight back. So, like, again, why does she get special care? Are these aliens, I guess, do we not see them kill anyone? Are they opposed to killing creatures?
I don't think they kill people. Yeah, I think they take them over.
But, like, I just don't understand. I do like the idea, again, because I don't think the implication is, I think it is all real that we're seeing towards the end, but it could be fun to play into that she is still under throat alien possession, and in her world she did see it. Like, the only way to control her under throat possession is to make her think she won. Obviously that's not the answer. That's what makes most sense to me as a way that, like, still kind of holds place where the aliens are invading. Like,
makes a lot more sense
if
to
this
me.
is something that they're going around and doing, I get them to be interested in sort of like this anthropology type of way of studying, like, or societal and studying everything like that.
I like your earth music. But
then at the end of the day, you got to think that these aliens have gone around and done this to so many planets. I would think so, that, like, at the end of the day, it is still business or whatever, religion.
What if this is
business.
their first planet? This is just a trial and error for them. Because, all right, guys,
I mean, it could be, but that's the thing. And, like,
we have these monkey people that we can kind of, okay, so we're going to just test everything. So this is like a dry run for an invasion. Okay. So, like, they're not, their defenses are really low. They only get slightly past the atomic age. It's dry run.
What is their intent in coming here? They throat ball people. So the intent, whether it's God or taking over, they're definitely interested in
controlling,
domination.
Because then at the end of the day, what are they doing with that town?
They're
What's the point of that town?
So
for her, they're like, we'll just give you a town. You can have all these controlled alien people as well to just dance around with.
Exactly.
Well, that's the thing. We don't know what happened outside of this town. We've got to assume that they've done this across the whole planet. And we don't know that this is the only person that has resisted them like this, and that they've been like, you know, there could be thousands of these types of people somewhere in the world that they're like, okay, we don't need to infect this one because
we're going to learn from them.
Well, then I think at that point, that's, again, I guess it's first invasion type thing, because that's horrible planning, because why
maybe they made a zoo.
I guess, but we see,
like,
I don't know.
She is the one you know what I mean? Like,
no, I think that's actually very accurate. I think
they can now control their observance
I think the problem that I have with this movie is the fact that when we get to this point, like, once we get past what the point of the film is that forgive yourself and you'll be happy, that once we look into
yeah, exactly,
the plot devices with the aliens and all that stuff, it falls apart for me. And I think we're desperately searching for reasons to make it work for me. And I think something gets lost there in the message of the film that I'm like, I got your message. It was very clear, but I feel like there was another way to deliver it that just wasn't effective because, again, I'm vibing with the characters.
And I think it's
and
because
all that
of the ending, because of how they choose to just let her go, it seems. And also staring right at the camera really... The looking at the audience thing really throws it off there.
It had like a Stepford Wives kind of like
absolutely
robot.
Well, that just because I think
everyone
is
happy. Humans are happy now.
But like it seems bad design to just leave. Like I mean, if she's not like if there's not a dome encapsulating over there, if you got all these pockets of people that are still not under mind control, I mean that's how you get people rising up and resisting your invasion again and get armies against you and stuff. I mean, bad planning on the aliens' part to allow this to happen.
No one will save you, part 2.
And it's the
just
aliens,
like
and no one's going to save the aliens.
There you go.
But no, I mean, that's okay. So when I saw this movie the first time, you're definitely not alone, you guys, because when I went to see what other people had thought of this movie, I saw a lot of people like just shit-mouthing the entire movie because of the ending. Like, oh, the ending sucked. What a shit ending. Whereas I was like, I don't know if I get it, but I just kind of dig that. Like, I always have enjoyed when a movie has an ambiguous ending like that leaves a lot up to your own interpretation and imagination. And even if I don't, like Sam said, if my imagination can't get to some plausible reason, it doesn't really bother me because I'm okay with it. And I'll keep thinking about it and I'll watch it a second time and I'll come up with a reason like I've done on this episode tonight, you know?
No, I totally get that.
I like it.
Nice.
I think in some respects too, is that the ending is almost like a classic 1950s sci-fi ending where like everything is totally fine, everything is totally cool, and everyone's you know what I mean? Like it's like celebration.
Well, and remember, she was an outsider for... Like she was an outsider for other reasons, but also stylistically. You touched on that. Everybody else was normal. And at the end here, everybody's
is dressing like her,
how she was,
acting like her. She's doing all this, like they're doing, like basically like a ballroom dancing outside, and then you have that pull out where she's staring at it, where it has this big Hollywood ending, and then you pan out and he goes doo 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 boop boop, and there's also saucers in the background,
which to me was saying the Earth has been taken over by these aliens.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I would have loved to have seen more, though. Like, having the saucers in the back would have been, like, okay. But if you pan out and just having the daddy long legs just, like, running over buildings and stuff. So, like, they're all just still, like, just doing
monitoring.
That wasn't in the budget.
they had to cut that out. They paid so much for those for those oriental rugs to be put in like a grid fashion for them to dance on. So like they're like, we can either have rugs.
Area they're even in at that time? It's very strange looking.
It's like a little town square.
It actually looks a bit like a diorama.
Oh,
interesting.
Oh.
All right. Well, I think we did it right. Anything else to say? Let's go over to that crematorium. All right, crematorium of questions. Let's reach into the old crematorium and see what questions we have. How would we survive this one? How many are getting sacrificed? I think it's clearly we do not. The question is whether or not one of us is liked enough by the aliens to let us live in like a zoo.
Right.
I'm the fuzziest, so I think I'd probably be in the zoo. They'd be like,
you think they're gonna like you just because you're fuzzy?
You got some past trauma to forgive?
Oh, I got a suitcase. It'll be fine.
Well, I also think you have to fight off the aliens long enough and kill enough of them where they're like, shit, if we let this person live, they might kill more of us.
I'm just banking if they think I'm a Sasquatch and they go, oh, okay, we've hung out with you before. You're fine. Just hang out in the ship while we get this thing cleared up.
They just ignore you. So Ross is safe and the rest of us are wormballed?
Yeah, I'm being bugballed.
Yeah,
Unless they enjoy my love of cats and
Ooh.
raccoons.
That's what.
well, listen,
the
if you get
raccoons
bug
are
balled, you'll be in a world of cats and raccoons.
That's actually very true. Yeah, actually, the raccoons were their
that's true.
scouts,
Aw.
so you're actually part of the club, anyways.
Yeah, so who cares if we get taken over? Because we're in this beautiful
It's
dream
true.
world where everything's beautiful.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
presumably it's fine.
And there's cats
Which
and raccoons.
makes me like, I don't understand their religion, but
Me neither.
according to this
I
guy,
don't
when
understand.
I think about how, because
I say that to
now that
all
he has
religions,
said
man.
that though, there's very like he has a very clear view of a thing that he was making for this movie, but like, what is this religion?
He does and doesn't. If he does, I don't think it was executed fully well in the movie. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
He may have had it in his head,
Did
but we didn't get
Sam,
enough.
after reading the interview, did your score go higher or lower after you read the interview?
I
Didn't score it yet.
that didn't
It didn't
change.
change it.
It did not change.
I don't know what my score is
Mhm.
right now, so
Mm.
I don't know. But it made me more interested. I was looking forward to watching it after I had read the interview.
In
It
that
was why I
scope.
shared it with you
True.
guys.
Yeah, now I need to read that interview.
Well, I read one little quip from it, the one that I said that was on the IMDb behind the scenes thing, and it
Mhm.
was like along the lines of, yeah, they were kind of like interested in the human culture a little bit, and that's what made sense to me, that they were like kind of like looking around at things more and playing around a little bit. So I saw that aspect to it, but I did not see the thing about like the religion thing, which is different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm interested in that to see if I read that, if it'll
Change.
make sense
Yeah.
with the movie, with how I view
Mhm.
the movie. I'm actually surprised that that the director revealed that much, because most movie makers want to leave more to the imagination of the audience.
No, this guy had bullet
Mhm.
points.
So
Yeah. The spoiler interview, Brian Duffield on No One Will Save You. I'll just try and find the religious part real quick. So they're not gender specific. They're multi-species living in a harmonious way, not like humans and pets, but just kind of like you have grays, you have little fuckers, you have daddy long legs, and each has their own very specific role in the society that you'll never see.
wait, he calls them little fuckers?
Yeah, that's where I got it from.
Oh shit!
Oh, those cute little fuckers.
I thought that was just a
same with
Chuddle
daddy
thing.
long legs. Nope.
It does say it's very odd bread for a Chuddle thing.
Well, I think of the Greys as decision makers. The daddy was more like a priest. You'll notice the UFOs don't really do anything without talking to daddy first. So he's kind of like the flight controller. And when we meet daddy in the backyard for the first time, he's kind of ambling along like doop-de-doo. You could talk to him about being a kind of old priest, so he's just a little goofy. He's got these little jokes. And then the sound guy comes up with this thing. I don't know how many people will pick it up, but the daddy long legs has a little musical thing that he does, and then he made alien singing noises, and he's singing back to Caitlin the song he heard earlier in the movie that she dances to. So I think a number of times in human history, colonization has happened in the name of God, and it's been bad, but it's never, we're just assholes. It's always, we're assholes, but God wants us to do this. I like the idea of aliens having that equivalent. What I told the visual effects guys was, okay, these aliens are very religious, but their God is real, unequivocally. They're just like, well, there's God, we talk to God, God is telling us to do this thing. I wanted it to feel like there was real motivation beyond we're monsters. Like when the gray in the red room and possessing Caitlin, even though he's not monstery, he's talking to her and he's very calm, and he kind of performs this maneuver and then expels the parasite. There's this nice sense of relief. That's me wanting you to feel like there's this methodology and weird faith that they have. I just didn't ever feel like I'd ever seen that. So that's him talking about
The religion of it.
the God parts in these, different hierarchy and
So-
multi-specialities.
It does sound like he's like giving the audience hints, but still not telling the whole story that's in his head. So
So
Yeah.
is
Leaving
this
it up
like
to
the
your
gross
interpretation.
There's
version
still a
of?
lot on the scene.
Is this like the gross version of communion? Is like there?
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Totally.
Okay. All right.
I gotta see that again.
That's real weird.
Oh yeah, super weird. But we had talked about it so much at this point. I figured I might as well actually get what
they
he
actually
said
said on
and
there.
read it to you guys.
Yeah.
How do you make the film gooier?
Body count, like human body count. Although I mean, if they're not killing anybody, maybe if she takes out a group of the parasitic humans, would be kind of interesting.
Oh, sure.
Where it's like that whole group that was like kind of like bringing in one of the ships. If she like, you know, ran him over. Or...
Only human body in this one is a little girl and a doppelganger.
Well, I say, I've got an idea for gooier.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When the things go into the humans' mouths, you show more than just her. Okay. And when they go into the mouths, blood comes out of their mouths because they're obviously enlarging their throats.
Oh,
and then when they
sure,
go
yeah.
into the throats, they don't just sit on the inside. The tendrils kind of break the skin and come out of the skin on the outside and then wrap around their neck. So you see like them like pulsing.
Well, it's like a
That'd be
damn
gooier
it.
for
Is
sure.
it like an isopod? There's a certain kinds of parasitic isopods that are in the ocean that will go into fish's mouths and replace their tongues.
Yes.
So like having a version like that where they go into humans' throats and replace their vocal cords.
Ooh.
And yeah, that would be yeah.
Also alien blood.
Cool.
That would make the movie gooier.
Yeah, totally.
And it should be like Devil's Backbone,
Smash
like
that
reverse
head.
thing that like their blood is anti-gravity. So like when they bleed, they just float, like their blood just floats up. Doesn't make sense, but it doesn't need to.
Out into space, never distributed. No, they're aliens. It makes sense on their planet.
It falls on their planet.
It does, exactly. Villain level 1 through 10, power level 1 through 5, iconography 1 through 5. Put them together, get your total. So they're very powerful. They took over the planet.
I'm gonna say, like you said, it's not God tier because I think Scotty's right. Like I think like even like with willpower, like having that hesitation and stuff like that, I feel like a 4 would be appropriate. And then iconography for me is weird because it's like traditional grays and not grays, and it depends on what version of this alien you're talking about. So like I don't know, I give it like a 3, so maybe a 7 for me for these aliens.
I'm giving them a 10. I'm giving them a 5 and 5. I think
Whoa.
classic gray aliens already are iconic, and then these ones, because of their voguing and crumping that they do, are like always going to be stand out and memorable for me. They're posing. And they take over the entire planet. You can't get away from them unless they decide they like you for some reason. So if they come to get you, you are done for.
Mm-hmm.
There is no, not only will no one save you, there is no escape. You just need to be interesting enough for them.
I dig that.
So I'm at a 10, which I don't know if I've ever given anything a 10 before. And I wasn't expecting to give them a 10 heading into tonight, but here we are.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably kind of agree with you. It's hard to say. Iconography, I'll give them the 5 because there's a gray alien that's pretty like that image itself. Iconographic. And then the variations of them as well, I think, sit there, and the dancing, as you said, or whatever, the signing, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the power level, it's like they're world ending essentially, but they're also destroyable, which is interesting. But it's because there's so many of them and they have such power that it really takes it. Fuck it, give it the 10. Why not? They're strong.
Oh,
I don't care. They're tough.
Scotty.
Are we allowed to give 0.5s?
Yes.
Sure.
All right. So I think, honestly, I'm thinking of iconography differently than you guys. Although I get what Sam said. But, okay, so I'd probably give them a 4 to a 4.5 for power level because of everything that's already been said. But they are fallible. They do trip walking off of roofs.
They sure
do.
So 4.5 for sure. But as far as iconography goes, when I think of iconography, I think of movies that you can name the villain of a movie and everybody knows exactly what that villain looked like. Whereas
think of
I
its
don't
fame
think.
level versus its
Yeah, kind of like that. Is that not something you guys think
No,
of?
it's definitely part of it.
It's part of it, but when we use it in this sense, we mean just character design, essentially.
Which I think the character design was fantastic. I mean, if we're going by just character design, I give it a 5 because that's great. But when I think of something that's iconic, I don't think, unfortunately, as highly as I think of this movie, I don't think 10 years from now I'll be like, oh man, you guys remember the bad guys and no one will save you, and people be like, I don't know.
Well, you'd also say, though, that gray aliens themselves are already like more iconic than anything. It's the most iconic alien there is. If you ask somebody, if you type alien into your iPhone, you get a gray alien head.
And I do get that. But does that make them iconic or generic?
What's the difference?
Exactly. It's open to interpretation. Right? My score is open to interpretation.
Dope.
I'm leaving it ambiguous.
I'm fine with that. Should it have a sequel? What is your sequel?
Yes, and the sequel should be a musical.
Oh, and it's all just Alien, the musical?
Yes, until she rips out the second mouth spore out of her face.
Oh, okay. So she is mouth spored because it's a musical.
Because it's a musical, and then she unspores herself, and then the what you find is while she's in this dreamscape, they've now completely stripped the planet of all natural resources, and she awakens to a dying husk of a planet.
The end?
Yeah. Oh, like it's straight up a Disney movie up until the last 5 minutes of the film.
Wow, really took out all the thrills and scares for the sequel.
I went full Pearl on that one.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Well, you'd have to do
follow the
just bright, bubbly.
It's more like
happy.
Lawnmower Man and Lawnmower Man 2.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
All right, yeah. Yes, there should be a sequel. I don't know. I don't think there should be a sequel. What are you gonna do? The best parts of this movie are the thrills and chills, you know. So you need to do it from the beginning, from the home invasion. Like, I don't know how.
The only way I feel like to do it is you just watch it happen to someone different.
Just a different genre or something. Yeah, watch it happen to someone different. Make it action sequel, like
right.
Aliens to Alien.
Or the sequel, yeah. I mean, she fucking... They made a mistake by letting her...
They're mind warriors. It's all fighting in the mind.
And she teams up
the one.
with other people that got allowed to live because of their trauma. So you get the trauma team together.
Revolution.
And you get the trauma-lution. Trauma. Damn, I tried.
Trauma Revolution.
Yes. The popular sequel to Dance Revolution. Been playing it every day of my life.
Yeah, I don't want a sequel. I'm good with just this movie. I like the open ending, the ambiguous, and I think that a sequel would attempt to explain some of the things I don't really care to have explained.
Mm-hmm.
So
right, I like that I love implied lore. So I'm always a fan of that. The problem with the unexplained bit I have for this movie isn't so much. I mean, it is the aliens' purpose in a way. I guess it's really just like, why the fuck leave people? Some people are not just to watch,
just to spice it up.
Yeah, especially if it is for a god thing. Like when you want everybody, especially these really special ones.
Some aliens just want to watch the world burn.
Some aliens live long enough to see themselves become the villain. That's right. Would you buy the soundtrack or score on vinyl?
I
don't think that I would.
I'd have to really pay attention.
I did not.
Again, to be totally honest with
you. Ross forgot that it existed.
100%. I just brain farted it out of existence.
He thought there was no score.
I thought it was a silent film.
I like that one oldies song that we hear, the knock knock, whatever it is that she dances to. But
I like the score. Joseph Trapanese did it. He did. He helped do the Oblivion score. If you guys saw that movie, He worked with Anthony Gonzalez from M83 to do that score, which was fantastic. I liked this score. I've listened to it on Apple Music, but when Waxwork, I believe, put out the soundtrack on vinyl, I wasn't in a hurry to get a vinyl copy. I'm happy with my digital copy, and
Sure.
I still listen to that from time to time. I think there are some very beautiful moments to this score, while there are also just some very background environmental, but there is no recognizable, memorable theme for me. And that's something I actually really appreciate in a movie score, not a music score, but you know what I'm saying.
I do.
Yes.
So, long story short, good on Spotify, don't need the vinyl. Something like that.
Something like that.
Good on Apple Music.
There you
Apple
go.
Music, there it is.
Fuck Spotify.
Fuck Spotify, unless you're listening
And
to this on
Spotify, then that's totally cool.
Oh yeah, if you're listening to Chuddle the Pod on Spotify or Fun with Horror, then
That's
Spotify's
Yeah,
great.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's where it's okay.
Is anything action figure worthy? I would take every version of the alien.
Sure, me too.
Yeah.
I'd like the
fun
Daddy
little set.
Longlegs as a Stretch Armstrong.
Oh, that'd be a good merch. Speaking of merch, is there a merch or prop or promotional item you would want for this movie?
Yeah.
I would get instead of like Ricolas, they would be spore shaped throat lozenges.
That's good.
Oh, that's
Yes.
fun. That'd be a great
Yes.
promo
Yeah.
item. Yeah.
For a prop, I was thinking a spore.
Ooh, that would be
a
good.
prop from it. Squishy
nice
little
and
spore
gooey.
guy.
Yeah,
I would
Ross,
get
Ross, I was going with yours.
I want the dead one on the floor.
I was going with yours, but as like a gummy worm type thing, gummy candy.
Oh, that's so good.
There you go.
I actually would get the piece of the skull, with that stabbed into the brain of the alien with the
that's
bell on it.
Yeah.
Would be kind of a nice little in a shadow box with a little bit of alien gore,
I want that
There you
whole
go.
alien on the floor.
blanket included.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a very ornate blanket. I want all those rugs as well.
You
that
just
we
want
see
the
at
whole
end.
house.
Take the rugs.
I want that whole house.
Oh, the house is
And
dope.
yeah.
I want that
I
property.
do not
for
want
sure.
the door on it. I just want a couch in front of the door with a blanket nailed to the frame of the door.
One last question, fellas.
Oh boy.
What's the fuckable popcorn bucket?
Oh good God.
It's literally a
It's a
bent
spore.
and contorted little fucker with his head straight up and his mouth open.
Okay.
I was trying to avoid the head because I feel like that's where it's always gonna gore towards.
Gore.
So I was thinking just a
Gore
spore, an
towards.
open spore.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Open spore.
Somehow make it look gross, and I mean it probably looks kind of close to the Dune one.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not touching
actually,
this
it
one.
would totally.
I'm staying far away from this question.
This is one. Has nothing to do with it.
You like Dune?
Me? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I love Dune.
I know. So then you know what we're
I
talking about.
do know what you're
then.
talking
We can
about, but
move
I'm not
on.
gonna
All
touch
right.
this version of it.
I only want your fingers.
Should we all, cut our fingers open and bleed on it?
Can you wrap your fingers around this?
I'll take a Voorhees burger and a side of Jason fingers.
Show them.
Ratings. It is time to figure out how we feel about this movie. On this show, we use a rating system of 0 to 5 fingers. Each finger represents a different quality about the movie. You can chop off different portions of your fingers to total them up for your rating. These ratings are intended to be subjective on how we feel about a movie. It does not matter if the movie is objectively good or bad. And I would like to start with Rossi Poo.
Oh, I
Yay.
thought you would.
Yay.
All right, so engaging, I'm going to give the full 1. Because this actually gave me a few different kinds of engaging. I was engaged because I was interested. I was engaged because I was confused. And in certain parts, I was engaged because I was angry. So it was a nice cluster of different kinds of engaging, but I was thoroughly fucking engaged the entire movie. Sticky, man, Sticky's going to get a 0.5 for me. I feel that there are definitely some very sticky moments in this. I think with my general confusion of the hierarchy of the aliens, the different kinds of aliens and things like that, I got more confused Sticky than moments in the movie Sticky. But like the sleep paralysis red scene is fantastic. The cinematography is fucking gorgeous in this. The lighting is gorgeous in this. So that gives it that half point for me because like it's just structured so cool and shot, you know what I mean? But I'm feeling like I'm having more sticky cinematic moments than sticky as in like how it was shot versus what was being shot, if that makes sense. A
little bit.
T-Shirtable is going to get a big old goose egg for me. I don't know. I just don't know if I like the movie enough to wear a shirt. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel like there are things that would constitute cool ideas for shirts, but I would never wear them. So it's got to be a goose egg for me. Cockles is gonna get a 0.5 for me because, like I said, like I think there's a lot of cool stuff with the aliens, and I think each subspecies has its kind of cooler aspects to it with really revved it. I just feel like all of those elements together in this no one will save you smoothie, it just kind of like, I don't know, it fell short for me. It didn't eviscerate him. Like, I think if I had one kind of those aliens throughout the entire thing, this would be a 1 for the cockles. You know what I mean? But I feel like there was cool ideas, cool concepts, but because my utter confusion and me punching myself in the face the entire time, just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, ruined part of those cockles for me.
That's funny. I don't find it very confusing.
It's not confusing. I was just more like motive wise, where I'm like, why are they doing this? What is going on with this? Like, if these guys are so powerful, why are they toying with it? And then I'm thinking, and then I had the sub narrative of that parasite was controlling all of them. So that made more or less sense to me.
No, I get it. Yeah,
I had a lot of fucking issues with this.
I didn't have them.
And then rewatchable is gonna get. I've seen it 3 times, twice for the recording here, and then once when initially it came out. I think I'm probably going to be good for a minute, but that being said, I give it like a 0.25. Like, I'm not going to say I'm never going to watch this movie again, because I do enjoy this movie in certain aspects. It's just,
do you? Well, because you gave it a 2.25.
You know what? Let's go rewatchable to a 0.5 then, because I feel like this is a 2.5 for me, which is average movie. It's good. It's not bad, not terrible. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's on the lower of my scale usually, but it's for a subgenre that I'm not fully spooked out or scared by. You know what I mean? Like alien, like that gray alien movies. You know what I mean? It does some stuff that I was really surprised by and stuff that really did get to me. But I don't know. I feel like 2.5 would be a good resting spot for me. Might go higher, might go lower on the recount, but I feel that 2.5 is good.
Cool. Brian, lay it on me.
1 for engaging. Definitely engaged the whole time. I was sitting there watching it and liking what I was like looking at. We talked to the cinematography. It's a well-produced film for sure. Sticky, I think I'll give it a 0.75 just because this movie has stuck with me for better or worse, whatever my thoughts are, how I've come out feeling on those matters, but it has stuck there. The aliens themselves, and it may have actually become less sticky if it wasn't for the danciness, the voguing, the posing of the animals. That's certainly aliens. That certainly has stuck with me. T-shirtable, I'll give it a 0.25 just because there are gray aliens, and I love all that. I wear a shirt given to me, or, you know, I'm not going to rush out and buy this shirt. I probably would never buy this shirt, but if I had the shirt, I'd wear it.
Totally.
Cockles, I think I'm going to give a 0.5 as well. I was feeling it for when I'm really kind of feeling those creepy, moody alien scenes. I think there's a lot of really cool, neat stuff in there. What really falls apart for me, unfortunately, is the ending, and I just don't vibe with it. Just doesn't vibe with me on that, so that's where it kind of drops. And then rewatchable, I kind of agree with Ross on the 0.25-ish with his initial one. I'd rewatch it again, but I don't think I'm going to get the initial scares that I had with it any of those other times, where it was creepy enough for me to really be. I think I kind of even lost that the second time I watched it around. So yeah, 2.75. I think that works right on the higher of the mid end, I'd say, which is what I think. Because I do think it is a good movie, and I think a lot of people like it. It just didn't vibe with me for various reasons.
Well, I think the big thing that I think you're hung up on is like, if clearly this movie has a message, if this is the message ultimately, like, how does that really make sense
within the scope of the framework? Yeah, sure. Yeah,
exactly. Which I totally understand, because I was held up on that too. And now I'm almost feeling like, yeah, I guess I'm just going to have issues there, and that's okay, because there's other stuff I really like too. I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out. But engaging is a 1. I'm totally engaged. For a movie with no dialogue, it really keeps the story moving. Sticky, I think I will give a 0.54. I'm certainly going to remember there's no dialogue and the dancing aliens. I'm not necessarily sure I'm going to remember a lot of other details in it. Probably some of the scares and thrills will be memorable for me as well. T-shirtable, I'm actually going to do a 0.54. If I saw one cool enough, I would absolutely get it. That's basically it.
Sure.
Especially opposing alien. Cockles is a 0.75 because these times revisiting it, I really do love it up till the end. I love that atmosphere and the pacing and the again, the perspective scares of knowing so-and-so's here and she's hiding here and it's coming over this way. I really enjoy that. And then rewatchable, probably going to get a 0.5. I'll definitely visit it again someday, but I'm going to take my break. I'm glad I came back to it to address my questions, because I think I've pretty much figured out as much as I'm going to. And this will probably be more in the vein of like if somebody wants to watch something that might be scary.
Sure.
Like, all right, yeah, let's throw this on. So 3.25, I feel good about that. That's a good score. It's on the higher end of being a lower movie that I like.
Right.
And it's weird. I shout, even though it didn't make my top 5 horror movies from last year, I did give it a shout out just because I think it's something people should see,
right? Even
if I don't love it. Scotty, we know this was your number 2 last year. You liked it even more on your revisit. Let's walk you through the scale here. I wanna see where you'd put it. Engaging.
Right, here we go, boys. Engaging 1. Because I love this movie. You know this. I was engaged the whole way through. Now, Sticky, I'm going to ask you guys a question because I wanted to give this a 1. But I obviously... So is it just memorable or is it...
It's how much you like to think about it.
No,
as well.
I mean, then it's a 1.
Just how much it rattles around in your head.
The thing that almost stopped me from giving it a 1 is because obviously you guys even pointed out a few things that I missed.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I want to say that would keep you from getting it a 1.
1 then. Now, T-shirtable. I love this movie, but I would basically only wear a T-shirt with the poster on it if somebody gave me one for free. I wouldn't. If somebody put T-shirts of this movie on a website, on Fright Rags or Cavity Colors, I don't know that I would get a T-shirt. It would have to be a really good Cavity Colors design. So I'm gonna
if there's a good Cavity Colors tie-dye, I'd definitely get it.
But I would give it a 0 on T-shirtable for now. Cockles, yes, this movie warms the cockles of my heart. And number 5, rewatchable. In fact, I want to rewatch the movie right now after talking about it with you guys. I just watched it last night. I would love to watch it again tomorrow. So it's rewatchable, but here's where I'm going to jump up on my little podium here and complain.
Okay.
Because fuck Hulu and their horrible streaming service because constant artifacts in the blacks that I can see, even though it's supposed to be 4K. Also, did anybody else notice that the volume of this movie is kind of low? You have to turn it up maybe a little bit more.
Super low. At least on my TV, it was like everything was super low until the loudest bangs happened that almost blew out my speakers, which was hilarious.
Sam, Brian?
No.
No, you didn't notice, Sam? Okay.
No, but I was watching it low. I watched it once with headphones, so I wasn't sure where I had it set at, you know what I mean? And then the other time was intentionally with the volume lower.
See, I watched it with headphones both times, and when I started it last night, all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, that's right. The volume on this movie is super low because normally I have a certain place where I set the volume on these headphones that I'm actually wearing right now. But I have to pull them all the way to the top, and nothing, even when they're like cranked to 10, nothing blows my ears out. So I wish this movie would come out on Blu-ray. Like so far, only one Hulu movie, Prey, has come out on Blu-ray.
Prey.
And I wish they would put their other movies out eventually. Like give us Hellraiser, give us this movie.
Fresh.
Oh, totally.
I fucking love Fresh.
I feel like
Fresh.
There absolutely should be physical media for a bunch of these Hulu movies that came out because they deserve a physical copy of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But that's neither here nor there. So with the fingers...
So that gives you 4 out of 5, but is that right?
As far...
Or
no,
would
I
you
gave
rate
it 5
higher,
stars.
You think? Yeah.
It's 5 stars. It was 4.5 the first time I watched it because I wasn't sure about the ending. But after watching it a second time, I gave it that extra half a star because I'm like, I do like this ending. I do like the ambiguity of it. And there you go.
5 out of 5. It's not a perfect system, but it's pretty good.
It's great. I love your system.
Where we find out, thank you, what the club has to say. Was it only Tibu that chimed in? Yeah, we had people say that they really liked it, but ultimately he was the only one who said anything. So, engaging. 1, I went into this movie blind and found out it was about a mute. From start to finish, I was glued to the screen. That is not correct. She even speaks in the movie. Sticky, 0.75. I want to rewatch
All right, well,
it.
let's go back to that. I'm pretty sure that was kind of a play on words because he said he went into it blind.
In fact,
because I corrected him as well, but then I was like, I get the joke.
Could be. I don't know if I give him full credit. We'll see. Sticky, 0.75. I want to rewatch it. I'm sure it could be a full 1, but I've definitely forgotten some scenes. I do love that dancing alien boy, though. The one that looks like he is signaling for a plane to land. It's a 10. T-shirtable, 0. It's just an alien gray. Hit on that a lot tonight. Some people, it seems like Brian and I are more here for just alien grays, and you guys are more like, yeah, just an alien gray.
I don't know. I'm a little gray on the matter.
Gray
I'll
on the
see
matter.
myself.
I get it.
I'll see myself out.
That was a 2-tier joke. I loved it.
Cockles, 1. This film gave me more than I expected. I love the lead and the home invasion scene. It actually had me creeped out. Totally agree. Rewatchable, 1. I've seen it twice and want to watch it again. 3.75 out of 5 doesn't feel right. 4.5 out of 5 is my score. And then he says, I'm throwing up hand signs at the midnight showing. And that's the only detailed one we got. Again, people seem to have love for it, but nobody really got into it. And with that, we can see how our collective score compared to other scores in the Goo book. Normally we have Brian do this part for us, but he had to bounce out, so I can take that over. We just did this movie, No One Will Save You. It comes in at a 2.8 out of 5 total. That puts it right above movies like Caveat, Cocaine Pear, Jeepers Creepers, which we just did. And then just above it, or actually tied with it, we have Dashcam Possession and Willy's Wonderland.
Oh.
All at 2.8. Just above that, we have Black Sabbath at 3.0. Friday the 13th OG at a 3. Those are the only 2 3s we have. Yeah. So it's sitting in an interesting space, really. These are all movies that I feel like either one of us really liked and the other people didn't, or they occupy different zones. It's interesting to see. How about that?
How about it?
What a coinkydink.
Well, that does it. We did it, boys. Thank you for chuddling this with me. Chuddle Movie Pod Club. Meeting over.
Hey, Scotty.
Yes,
I
sir.
know the title was that no one will save you, but thank you for saving us from boredom tonight. With
Always.
with you being here, we really do appreciate you.
Obviously, I was only able to save 2 of you, but
Yeah.
Right. Brian unfortunately got a mouth sport.
No one
he
can
got
save him.
abducted.
He got abducted.
Follow Chuddle the Pod on Instagram and Slasher. Stay up to date with the podcast. Also on Threads. Follow Ross Purvis on Instagram. If you can see his tattoos and his arts. Supports him financially with the monies if you like art. What else? Brian and I are Chuddle the Brian, Chuddle the Sam on Letterboxd. If you want to see what we're up to there, what you should really do is jump in the Discord. We have a lot of fun in the Discord. Scotty's in the Discord now. We have a good time in there. Join the Chuddle community. Just to make it easy for you with all that, we put that in the show notes. Scotty, thanks for coming. Where can people find you on your social stuff for Fun with Horror? Fun with Horror. Fun with Horror.
With horror. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Just Google Fun with Horror podcast. Like, don't just Google Fun with Horror, because that gives you some weird results. But if you Google Fun with Horror podcast, you can find us anywhere.
Nice.
Great. We'll probably throw a link or 2 in the show notes for this one as well.
Thank you.
Check out their show. They got good stuff happening there. And we've done it. Until next time, avoid the time loop, baby.